is my state, this is my team. You know what that means. This is for the black and blue that I bleed. This is for the chance to bring home that ring. But everybody gonna doubt this. So far there ain't been another way around it. We bring heat to the game each week. They just say we ain't got what it takes, we ain't bout it. Well, y'all can just keep saying that we ain't gonna make it, but at the end of the day, this will be the Panthers nation. You know, this ain't a game to us major players at every angle that you can think of. That's why you hate us. Get out the way of greatness. You can look at our faces and see the blood, sweat, and tears that it took to create this. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, but you can save it. Cause even on the darkest of days, you know we're always gonna find a way to tell them what we gonna do. We gotta
What's up, everybody? We are live. Give me just one moment. All right. Let's do this. Before we get started, hit that like, sub, and bell. And leave a comment down below if you would like to. Check out the chat. Stick around. We're going to get a lot of content in today. This is going to be a fun one. Also, before we get into the nitty-gritty info, I want to say a happy birthday to Mr. Taylor Moton, number 72, the big man. So, you know, I was really blessed to be able to have a chance to celebrate a little bit with him, you know, with the Panthers fans out there at training camp. You know, just hanging out with his family. So, you know, that's what's up, man. It's all about family in the Carolinas. And, you know, we always promote that, and we always will. So, hey. All right, so I do have a guest joining me tonight at around 11 on the stream. He will be on the Facebook stream, so you'll be able to see him on Facebook, but you will not be able to see his face on the YouTube channel. So, hopefully that's all right with everybody. But, you know, I've had him on before a couple of times on the Facebook streams, and he's pretty knowledgeable. He's a Patriots fan. Keep that in mind. He is a Patriots fan, but it's going to be interesting to see, like, different perspectives from different fans, you know, and that's what I like to give here on this channel. Not just Panthers only, you know, and this channel is inclusive to all fans of all 32 teams. You know, I welcome all of you, so, you know, feel free to chat, talk, whatever you want to do here, man. That's what's up, man. As long as y'all keep it chill, I don't mind a bit. So, without further ado, let's get into day 15 of training camp. Now, day 15, as you know, we had a tornado actually come through the Greenville area, and it destroyed some stuff pretty close to my house, but that's why I didn't go to Spartanburg yesterday. I thought it would be a better idea just to stay home, stay hunkered down, and just stay safe, you know, and I fully support everybody that did that. You know, if you risked it and came out to the training camp anyway, you know, more power to you. You're a lot braver than I am. But, you know, this YouTuber does not want to get struck by lightning or get run over by a tornado. So, you know, I'm going to stick around for a bit longer for you guys. Yeah, so not a lot happened on the 15th before we started these joint practices. But we do have a lot to cover in the joint practices themselves. So I'll just quickly go through day 15. And I believe I got to get it up on the screen because someone posted notes about that. Trying to find where those are. Because the website is what it is. I can't go back and cycle through some of these older videos, which I wish I could. Or older information. Oh, there we go. It is letting you. Okay, cool. Cool. I just didn't see that before. All right, so they had painted the field in Charlotte on August 6th. So what I'm interested in is I don't care about the photos. What I want to know is somebody posted an entire article about what their observations were on Wednesday, and I'm trying to get those. Well, Tuesday, and I'm trying to get those. So that's what I'm more interested in that. I'll probably go by the four-man rush info there. Because my man Kevin's always accurate, so we'll go with that. Let me get set up here. What's up, David? How you doing, man? Yeah, four-man rush. Oh, okay. They did it with a number 4. That's why I couldn't find it. I see. There we go. No. That's not it. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Okay. So I'm waiting to. I'm looking to see what they put up. Um. That makes no sense. Okay, whatever. Um. Tell you what, we'll skip the info for the 15th because honestly, I don't really feel like anything really happened with that storm. I feel like it's going to be more of the same with the quarterback play. It's going to be more of the same with the wide receiver stuff. You know, I don't really think there's a lot to cover. That's why I didn't put a video out. I was hoping to cover it in this stream, but at the moment, I'm not seeing any posts about. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing any posts regarding yesterday. So, oh, is he putting stuff up on Reddit? Oh, wow. He actually is. Well, that was 11 months ago. Wow, the Panthers actually retweeted it. Well, let's just see some tweets. Let's see some tweets. Maybe we'll get some more information from that. Let's see. uh, okay. Where we start from? 17th, 17th, 17th. Uh, I'm not seeing anything related to. Oh, here we go. Someone tweeted a picture of oh my god. This is funny. I gotta show y'all this. Hold up. Ladies and gentlemen and Panthers fans, I present to you the 2021 Carolina Panthers offensive line. And if you guys have ever traveled Business 85 or I-85 in South Carolina, you know this is true because they've been doing construction there. Oh my god, it's been a mess for a minute. They're still doing construction on it ever since 95. Oh my god. All right, so we got this tweet from Stephen White. Irving at left tackle. Thus far, he was in the starting rotation. So, I don't see any reason why that would change. He was in the starting rotation in the Colts game, but we chose not to take the starters out there. So, Irving did not get any reps during that game, which is fine with me. And I'd like to make this point again that the Colts did not have to run out that minute 45. This is preseason. This is an opportunity to watch players do their thing. Give them some reps. See what you got on the roster. You're trying to build a 55-man roster. You don't want to take chances away from either team to do that. The defensive tackles. I mean, I would be okay with that. But yeah, it is what it is. From the law firm wide receivers to the I-85 offensive line, I can't wait until we finally get it right. I know that's right, man. I ain't signed in. Okay. Rome wasn't built in a day. And that's just to give you an idea. This is, like, this goes on for a good many miles when you're traveling up to Charlotte. But, since the offensive line is about to have a spectacular year, we should choose the nickname for this unit. Thought I-85. Yup. No doubt. No doubt. I-85. Taylor and the Turnstiles. Um. So yeah, I'm not seeing anything about yesterday. So we'll just we'll skip that, I guess. I do want to get to Scott Fitter on his recent transaction moves. I want to get to Shy Smith with the controversial catch. And I want to talk about Walter as well today. So we're going to discuss that. We'll watch the Matt Rule press conference. And we got Frankie Louvu as well. We'll check that video out and discuss that. And of course, we got the camp observations for today. So, strap in. We got a lot of info to get to before 11. Now, also before we begin with all of that, if you guys haven't been paying attention to the website, the Panthers have updated their health and safety policy. So, this is very important, guys. Pay attention. In accordance with the City of Charlotte indoor mask guidelines, all guests and staff must wear a mask in indoor spaces. So keep in mind there's certain sections of Bank of America Stadium where you have to wear a mask indoors, as you're walking through. So honestly, I think that's a great idea. I think we're keeping ourselves safe, you know. Um, again, they're not mandating it. They're not requiring you to have a card or any of that. But, I do encourage people to do the right thing, and be safe. So, they had the specific sections of where that is. Let's see. I don't care about the tickets. What I want is okay, here we go. So, just to make sure everybody understands, the ticket holder agrees when they buy the Panthers tickets on behalf of the holder and of any other person for whom the holder is obtaining a ticket not to attend the event if the holder tested positive for COVID-19 within 14 days prior to the event. All right, so keep that in mind, guys. Unless the holder has been vaccinated for COVID-19 by more than 14 days prior, but no more than 6 months before the event, anyone or more of the following is true on the event date. And you can check all that out on the Panthers ticket terms and conditions, because I do want to make sure that everybody knows about this, because there is a servability clause as well related to that. So yeah, within the prior 48 hours, the holders experienced symptoms of a fever of 100.4 or higher. All the symptoms, repeated shaking, all that nonsense. Within the prior 14 days, the ticket holders travel to any state or international territory identified by federal and applicable local governments as being subject to travel or quarantine advisories due to COVID-19. So, just to let you guys know, that's in there. So anybody that buys a ticket has to agree to that. And, there we go. Safety precautions have been taken. So hopefully, we can all stay safe and be able to watch these games together this year. So I wanted to cover that. All right, so that in mind, let's get into the nitty gritty of today's practice. Now, I'm going to put this up on the screen for everybody to see. Hold up. So you guys can see it. There we go. And voila. All right. So, camp observations, rough day for receivers. Let's get into this. Now, keep in mind, they were displaying the Baltimore offense versus the Panthers defense in the front field, of the stands, the grassy knoll. So the Panthers offense was on the other side. So I didn't get much footage of it, but I tried my best. I did watch Wilger underthrow a few balls and a couple of overthrows by him. So he had kind of a rough day, but from what I saw. Yeah, that doesn't represent the mass majority of today, though. Keep that in mind, because I only saw, about half a dozen plays from over there. So, and whatever else I recorded and put on YouTube for you guys. So let's see what Matt Rule has to say about this. Because Matt Rule is saying something completely different from what I saw. Because on the plays that I saw, the wide receivers looked fine. All right, so Robbie Anderson sat out today with a hamstring issue. And Matt Rule says he's not thrilled with the number of drop passes and bad routes. And brought it up the same way he did last Thursday against the Colts. I don't like the passing game at all, Rule said at one point after practice. Oof. Okay, well, before I continue, again, I want to stress that PJ was overthrowing a lot during camp. And it's been on tape against the Colts. So there's that. Will Grier has been underthrowing. So that's on tape. So I want people to understand those two things before we get heavily into this. So he was more complimentary of the run game and the pass protection and Sam Darnold's decision making on the day. But as he did last week, he singled out the receivers. Excuse me. He acknowledged part of that was from practicing against an excellent secondary, though the Ravens were without Marlon Humphrey, but was sending a message to his guys. They're good, and you'd like to have Robbie out there. Some of these guys are tired, and I say that more as a jab. Little sun out there today, and all of a sudden we're tired. Feel sorry for ourselves. I told some of our young guys, you don't get to like all the Instagram posts and then come out here and not practice well. What you did last week doesn't matter. It's about what you did today. Thank you, coach. Well said. Well said. That's my coach right there. That's my coach. Yeah, man. When you care more about social media than playing the actual game itself, get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get off of Instagram, man. I think Dabo Swinney had it right. When he actually had people not go on social media throughout the season, because it's a distraction. It really is. I mean, maybe you could do that in the NFL, maybe not, but it's a distraction. Excuse the yawns, folks. Busy month. I'm trying to stay as active as I can right now for you guys. But you know, I like that. I like that right there. That he was saying about the Instagram post, man. Because it's a major distraction. Twitter is a major distraction. Facebook is a major distraction. Instagram is a huge distraction. Shoot, man. I do most of my business through Instagram and Facebook, so I know. I barely even go on Twitter because Twitter to me is a distraction. So I get it. You know, I get the temptation. I get, why you would want to go on there, after a big game like that and like a whole bunch of posts and pictures of uh of the team and how you did. And it is important to show that social media love. But some players don't even do it. They see it as a total distraction. And I respect that. You know, uh there's some that don't even have social media accounts these days. Uh it's a small majority, but they do. They are in that area where they don't have social media accounts. And I respect that so much because it allows these players to focus on film study. It allows them to focus on playbooks. It allows them to focus on so many things other than what's going on, with the world today, which is fine. You know, if that's what you want to do, you do you. If you want to have a social media account, you do you. But don't let it distract you from coming out and practicing well. And this is what Matt Rule is referring to here. You know, and I swear I think Dabo Swinney has the right idea by kicking everybody from social media during the season. I think I think it's a brilliant move. I wish we could do that in the NFL, but we can't. But, it is what it is. There's certain coaches that have certain great ideas out there and they do work. And it gets these guys motivated. It gets them more focused. They come out with more energy. You know, um, yeah, the fact that we are acting tired and sorry for ourselves after just a little bit of heat in Wofford, come on, man. That's an excuse. That's an excuse. You're gonna come out there in 92-degree heat and not do anything? That's laziness. No, 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 no. You don't get to use that excuse. Luke Kuechly never used that excuse. Thomas Davis never used that excuse. Greg Olson never used that excuse. Cam Newton never used that excuse. They all came out here, played in that 92-degree heat, did drills, did everything that they did at Wofford. Bad weather or good weather. They came out there and took care of business. Did their drills and did not say a word. Did not act tired. They were energized. They were ready to go. All right, so I say that to say this. I noticed the Ravens doing a little bit of a team building drill. Now, what it is the I think it was the wide receivers, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been a different group, but they were literally tossing a ball and playing hot potato with the ball. And they were lined up in a line, and they tossed it, boom, boom, and tossed it to the guy behind them. And there was this entire line. It was kind of like a trust situation where you trust the guy behind you to keep that ball up in the air and keep it moving, you know. like volleyball. And I like that because that shows like you're trusting the next person behind you to do what they've got to do to keep the drill going. And I think it's brilliant. We need to come up with some drills like that. Team building drills like that and just build our chemistry. I think that's one of the things that we've struggled with is trying to build chemistry with this team and over the years. And I think that's a great way to do it. So kudos to the Ravens squad for uh showing us that because we need some ideas. We need some new, fresh incentive ideas to keep these guys, you know, focused, energized, and able to trust each other. And here's the thing, guys. This is one whole team on the field. If we can't trust each other, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to trust each other. And, it starts with the line and it goes from there. Um, so I think that's a great idea for a drill to implement. I'm also going to go ahead and emphasize again that drill with the offensive line because I am not sold on if we fix that false start problem or not. So I think I'm going to double down and say, let's try that drill and see what happens. It's worth a shot. I mean, no one else is coming up with ideas. I've got these two, so I'm contributing something. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there and make sure everybody knows. For suggestions for the management, for the players, for anybody that happens to be listening. And if they're interested in taking some of these suggestions, awesome. I'm all for it. Thank you for listening and being open to these ideas. But if you don't, no big deal. It's YouTube. It's the internet. I get it. But as far as I know, no one's come up with any drill ideas. So I, as far as I know thus far, I am the one unique person that's come up with drill ideas. So take it for what you will. Anyway, let's continue here. And I'm so tired of these guys using this heat as an excuse, though. That's just, if I can come out there and brave that many days of heat in 92-degree weather and not get tired, you guys can too. Okay? Come on. And I'm not used to being up that early. Let me just tell you this. I'm not used to being up that early. I usually get up at like 9, 10 o'clock. So I'm not used to being out there, and waking up at 6:45, making that hour-long drive up there every day to camp to get videos for people. But I do it anyway because I love these fans of this fan base, me being one of them, and I want people to experience what training camp is like for those that can't go. Yeah. So if I can go out there and brave that 92-degree heat, and I've seen some years where it's gotten up to like 96. You're talking the Cam Newton years, when it got up to 96 degrees and, you know, the humidity was off the chart. And I was still out there taking notes, getting videos. I didn't lose any energy, guys. I was sweating like a horse, but I still got it. I still got it done. So for me to use the heat and the lack of energy out there as an excuse just doesn't cut it with me. That just doesn't cut it. I'm sorry. It doesn't work. Kevin Avery of the four-man rush has been out there every day too. You can ask him. He'll say the same thing. If me and him are both able to walk out there every day of camp, breathe that humidity, unacceptable excuse by these players. So, and this coach is not making excuses for him, and I'm proud of him. That's my coach right there. He's saying, get your rear ends in gear, hydrate properly, and get your butts in these drills. Get it done. Stop lollygagging. I respect the heck out of that, Matt. Thank you. He's not putting up with it, and neither am I. I'm with you, man. All right, so Darnold himself didn't seem panicky about things. Then Darnold doesn't give off a panicky vibe about much of anything. True. If you watch his press conferences, you know that. And those press conferences can be nerve-wracking for some players. I get it, man. Like, if you're more so an introvert than an extrovert, I get it. That could really make these pressers difficult for you. And some of these players, you just don't see them in pressers very often. And that's kind of one of the reasons why. So, but Sam Darnold is not one of those guys, man. So that's awesome. We got to continue to work on our timing. I think that's really it. We got to stay on top of our assignments, whether that's studying more late at night or whatever it is. However the guys want to get ready, we have to be ready for tomorrow. Yep. Well said. That's the leader right there. And yes, there was a fight. I'd be concerned if there wasn't. As I said in my video, like, if there isn't a fight at training camp, then, it is what it is. I'd be concerned about our competitive fighting spirit, our fire. But the thing is, like Matt said, you're not free of the consequences. So the Ravens took an exception to a shot from Panthers cornerback Keith Taylor put on a wide receiver, Victor. And a large mass of bodies gathered. Yeah, okay, they were pretty angry. Reasonably calm practice. Yep. That's about what I got out of it, too. They spent like about a minute and a half dealing with that. Afterward, defensive coordinator Phil Snow pulled Taylor aside as they're stressed, not letting things get out of hand. Yep. They said it's not a big deal for the Ravens, and just had to be professional to get the work done. Yeah, exactly. That's how it is. All that other stuff is unnecessary. Right. Yeah, we got the family of the right guard, John Miller. And he got knocked back. It's unusual to see. He isn't often pushed back. When it happens, you notice. Okay. Something to take note of, guys. Speaking of guards, Dennis Daly returned to practice a week after his excuse last week, and they're throwing him right back in. Good. That's something we need to see. He took some reps with the first team at left guard, where Pat Eflin starts. He's referred to as a uniquely powerful player, and they're giving him a chance to push for the starting job. Cool, man. I support that. I think, Dennis Daly looks solid, and I think he's earned the spot, the chance to compete for sure. I agree with them. We got Denzel Perryman coming back from an injury. Hasn't made much of an impact. Okay. Reggie Bonifon. Rodney Smith and Reggie Bonifon. I saw something about Rodney Smith getting injured. I heard something about that on the radio on the way back. I don't know what it was, but maybe somebody knows and they could tell me, but for right now I don't know. So next thing, Frankie Luvu sniffed out a play in the backfield. Let's take a look at him on tape. Ooh. Let's slow this down a little bit and try to break this down a little. All right. Then you notice my man 53 right here making some noise with the strip sack. So, and Brian Burns causes a fumble. So, keep that in mind. There we go. So I want to go back and kind of analyze that Frankie Luvu play. And they don't give us really good angles here, so let's just see what we can do with this. Alright, so here we have what appears to be a handoff. And Luvu sneaks past 61 here and gets him for a loss in the backfield. You can see the camaraderie right there. You can see the energy. It really amped everybody up on the defense, and they started making plays. When you get one person that starts to make these plays, everybody else starts acting a fool on the defense, man. They start cranking it up. And that's what we've always needed every single game, was just kind of that spark player. Who's going to do it? Every practice, every game, we need a spark. And today it was Frankie Luvu. So we're going to talk about some of these moves in a minute. But I want to look at this Shi Smith catch here. We saw the strip the strip sack. So here's Shi Smith. Let me put this on full screen. so we can look at this. There we go. So notice right out of the gate, look at that stutter step. Beautiful. That's how he gets those extra few steps on him. So we keep going. Look at the space. Look at the space between them. That's what you need to see right there. Goes up, gets the catch. It's a little high, granted. But I mean, keep in mind it's Sam Darnold. You know, it's not PJ Walker out there. You know, so Sam is going to throw it to a good spot where he's going to catch that ball. And there's the point by Luvu again for people that missed that. There you go. So oh, this is one I want to look at too. Terrence Marshall Jr. grabs a reception over the Ravens defender. These are your main guys right here. Shi Smith, Terrence Marshall Jr. You expect these guys to make these types of plays. Now, what the coach is looking for, and this is why Matt Rule is frustrated, is because the other wide receivers are not getting it done when we don't have Robbie Anderson out there. And I think that may be foreshadowing. Because if we have... Okay, say Robbie goes down with an injury this season, right? If he goes down with an injury this season, this is what we have to fill the void. We've got Terrace Marshall Jr., we've got Shi Smith, we've got DJ Moore. But beyond that, who do we have? What do we have at wide receiver position? And that's what we're still trying to discover. You know, we're still looking at, you know, with our wide receiver core right now. Where are we at? You know, in the depth chart. So these guys are getting moved around like musical chairs. We don't know who's earning what spots right now. We'll know more when we get to the Ravens preseason game, but for right now, nobody's really stood out. You know, nobody's really caught anybody's eye. You know, and I didn't get a really good look at them today. So hopefully, what I'm hoping will happen is that we will see the Panthers starting offense versus the defense of the Ravens, you know, and have people subbed in at wide receiver, have them subbed in on the offensive line, and just let them get some first string reps. And let's just see what happens. You know what I mean? And I want to see second string reps. I want to see third string reps. But, you know, beyond that, don't care. You know, because most of those guys are going to be camp bodies at wide receiver after that. But if somebody stands out, man, give them a chance. So let's take a look at this. Look at the separation already. You know, you're looking at that 2 feet of separation right there, and then that gives Terrence the chance to catch this ball. What a catch right there. Beautiful. That's what you would like to see from Terrace Marshall Jr., you know? That's what you expect. The dude's just taking care of business right now. And as long as he is taking care of business, good things will happen. So let's talk about this Matt Rule press conference. Let's watch this. All right, you guys ready? 3, 2, 1. He said he thinks that's about what we want. Okay. I can't speak to what the offense was doing again because I didn't see him. I was mostly focused on the defense because that's what was presented to us. Um, on that front field. What's up, Corey McKinney on Facebook? How you doing, man? Um, but yeah, that's what caught my attention because that's what was in front of us. And I got a chance to look at some of those Joey Sly field goals as well. Uh, I didn't get a good angle, so maybe we'll see how he does against Baltimore. I'm not ready to throw the red flag on Joey just yet, and see what's going on there. But uh, that tendency to kick it right is a little bit of a concern. And what I can trace back is when you look back at Gano, he was doing the same thing. So I think it might be technique. It might be footwork. I don't know much about kicking, so you guys have to tell me. So, but if Matt Rule says that this is pretty much what we want on offense, I'm gonna trust it. Let's keep going. I already explained about that, so really. So that's a step forward, huh? Okay. Um, he feels happy about it, then I'm gonna take his word for it. We'll see how that translates into the Baltimore game. You know, I'm not I'm not gonna be that person that's gonna throw him under the bus just yet until I see something tomorrow. Otherwise, that tells me, we're back to square one with Indy again. With our line being what it was. But if we can keep that same line that we were looking at before the Indy game and what we're doing with now, because I didn't see any false start penalties, so you got to kind of take that into consideration. But sorry guys, these 6:45 mornings are starting to take a toll on me. But let's continue. Mm. I wasn't aware that you had 2 ACL tears. Right. Wait, can you guys hear this? Hold up. Let me make sure that you guys can hear this. Oh, you couldn't hear any of it. Wow. Okay, I'm so sorry. All right, well, we can continue. You guys have already seen the video, so if you haven't, then go check it out on the page. I don't know what this is doing. Weather report stuff. Get off. Urgh. All right, back to it. But yeah, I wasn't
To be
aware.
honest with you, I think he's protecting himself well. He's making the right checks. He takes responsibility when something's wrong. He's protecting the football. I mean, to me, every day that we come out here and he doesn't. No, he's obviously not getting hit. But every day he comes out here and he doesn't turn the ball over, throw a silly. You know, you're going to throw some interceptions in football, right? But every day we don't throw a silly. Hey, I'm going to try to make a play interception. That's a day in a positive for me. And then making some big throws. I mean, he put balls in guys' hands down the sidelines. I mean, they got to catch it. So that's his job. I'm worried about him just doing his job, and those other guys they have to do theirs.
That's encouraging. For everybody complaining about his turnovers, there you go. He really hasn't had
I
any.
want to see us run the ball, so there's no doubt. Like we're gonna play the game the way the game was meant to be played in terms of situationally. Like at the end, we were calling our timeouts, trying to get the ball back so that we could have a chance to go down. They did everything they were supposed to. They took a knee. So I think we're trying to make sure we went back off the tape and coached all the situations there. We got in field goal range, we thought, before the half and then weren't. So I think we're going to do all those things. And really, your ability to function in those situations is important. So I think we're going to do those things. What we won't do is we won't over game plan the games. We're really worried about ourselves right now.
Yes.
Whether you go 3-0 or 0-3, 2-1, 1-2, doesn't really matter. It's better if you're getting better as a football team. So that being said, we want to win. We just want to win without the coaches trying to win the game. We want the players to go out and execute, play well, not have penalties, take the ball away, and win the football game. So that'll be our message.
Right.
You guys got Denzel back out there today. Were you able to see much out of him?
Did you catch that? He said without the coaches, but with the players winning the game. With as little coaching as possible. But you still want the play calling, you still want the coaching, but you want the players to win the game for you. I just wanted to point that line out. Nobody's paying attention to that, but
he's just going to warm up and do some indies. So hopefully he'll be able to do something more tomorrow.
And then is Keith
these press conferences have a way of pointing out stuff like that.
I think he was in a green yesterday.
Yeah,
There's little hidden gems like that.
You guys all saw that hit. He went in the concussion protocol. I don't want to talk about the protocol, but it's a pretty big hit. So I think he's just working through some soreness, and so whenever he's cleared, they have him doing more and more. Whenever he's cleared, we'll get him back out here.
Is there anything particularly you want to see tomorrow? Last day out in Spartanburg, last joint practice. Is there something particular you want to get out of it?
I guess I have to go watch the tape first, because I'll come out of this watching the tape and say, hey, we need to do this better, this better, this better. I for sure know I'd like to see us throw and catch the ball. I shouldn't even say throw. I'd like to see us catch the ball, get open and catch the ball, and every play not be lined up wrong. Like the whole, hey, I'm a rookie, I'm a second-year player. It's over. You're a Carolina Panther. So that'll be the challenge. I'll watch the tape and I'll see the defense and the special teams and see what I think needs to get corrected there as well.
It seems like receiving issues have been something we've talked about throughout camp. Receivers not lining up right, not catching. Has that been kind of a constant for you throughout camp?
Maybe for you, not for me. I mean, I think every day I come out here, I'm unhappy with everything, and that's my job, right? My job's and all our coaches' jobs to find everything that's wrong. So, I'd have to give it some more thought before I could really answer that.
What you said Thursday you'd make a decision.
Not necessarily.
Nope.
It's also to find the things that are right as well.
I've loved it. I've loved being here. I've loved the town. I love some of the restaurants. But I've loved getting away. I've loved this experience. The setup here is fantastic. The people at Wofford here are fantastic.
They really
The
are,
coaches
though.
at
Shout
Wofford
out to the
football and all
staff.
the Wofford supporters very grateful too.
They do such a
And
great job.
yeah, I think it's been really good for us.
Yep.
Matt, on these joint practices, I wasn't in Indy, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you normally watch the offense when given a choice. And what goes into the thinking about doing that?
I think usually the head coaches go so they can protect their own quarterback with the whistle. So the officials are trying to call it like a game. If you start asking the officials to blow sacks, not blow sacks. So as Coach Harbaugh, I think he usually on his practice field maybe goes to the defensive side. I go back and forth if you guys have seen me, but like I think really it's just going to the offensive side to control the tempo of that side, make sure the quarterback's not getting hit.
Yep.
Man, I was curious.
Yep.
Do you have preparing the team to when you have to
Wish you could hear some of these questions.
defenders with single-digit numbers, where they're coming from? Have you trained that scenario in practice?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it was really something that we utilized last year with Chin being in 21 as the linebackers, he's safety. It's why a lot of the veteran quarterbacks didn't like the rule change, you know. So every week we're going to have to just memorize early and identify who's who. We'll have to put them in practice and, hey, we're identifying this guy as this. And so it's non-traditional.
So there's a rule change? What's up with that? Yeah, let's get into that after this video.
So it'll be game plan by game plan. And so we're obviously not spending a lot of time working on that right now for us because we're not playing an opponent. We did some preparation last night for these guys in terms of, hey, here's who everyone is, here's who you're going against, so that they would be, clearly identified and marked because, Patrick Queen, great linebacker for them, he's wearing 6. So understand, hey, he's a backer, he's there. So great question.
All right. So there's a rule change on what's up with that right there? I'm still trying to figure out what he's saying there. Because I feel like if there was a rule change, I would have heard about it by now. The way he was saying that, it seemed like it referred to where players are positioned at. But I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, is that what y'all heard? Like, that one's got me kind of baffled. I'm gonna run that part of the presser back for my guest and see what he hears from that and what he thinks. Let's see if he heard anything because I don't think so. As far as I know, he hasn't. All right, so Walter Palmore. Let's talk about him now. We're moving on to the defensive tackle. We got we are now moved down to about, I think it's 83 now. I gotta double check, but I think it's 83 last time I checked. And we'll talk about some of those cuts in just a moment, but I want to talk about Walter Palmore first. So we're looking at a 6'4", 320 defensive tackle from Missouri. He signed with Carolina after spending some time with the Seahawks this preseason. Okay, so this is a Scott Fitterer move. He spent time on the Cowboys practice squad in 2020 after signing with Houston as an undrafted rookie in 2020. Okay. So there he is for the people here on YouTube if you want to look at him. 1 year man. So my thing is, if he's not making the Seahawks roster, he's not making the Cowboys roster, this is a warm camp body right here. This is what this is. Because we're pretty solidified at defensive tackle as far as I'm concerned. Because if you look at your screen here, we've got Derek Brown, we got Daquan Jones in first string. We got David Nixon, Braven Roy at second string. I'm pretty satisfied with that. And then we got Phil Hoskins and Caron Reed. Now, Phil Hoskins is starting to make some moves. I don't know about Reed, but I haven't seen Reed much. I'd like to see a couple more reps from him tomorrow. But as of right now, Walter squad, awesome. We could always use another defensive tackle, but as far as I'm concerned, 6'4", 320, you're looking at a camp body. Now, that could change. We'll give him a little time. That could change. We got one more practice to go tomorrow. So if he stands out tomorrow, he could be looking at practice squad. You never know. It takes one day to get these coaches' attention. So, keep that in mind. If he somehow beats out Phil Hoskins and Frank Heron here, Caron Reed, I could see him moving up to maybe battle for second string. I doubt it. I think Phil Hoskins is going to stay there. I think Reed may be your option if he's going to battle for a spot. But as of right now, he's going to be fourth string. Either on the left side or right side. I'm not sure which side he's comfortable playing on. Because, like I say, this is a new name for me. I'm not familiar with Walter Palmore. So, it's a Scott Fitterer move, obviously. You talk about him being with the Seahawks, that's obviously one of those players that came over with Phil. So, that he's still experimenting with. And there were 5 or 6 of those players? So, we'll get into Scott Fitterer in just a second. But I want to get to this Facebook message real quick. Sent by Corey McKinney saying, so glad to see us get a 7th for Greg Little. We could finally get a decent kicker. On a real note, he was getting cut anyway, so it's a good thing we got something. I'll address the kicker spot first, and then we'll talk about Greg Little. Kicker-wise, I got to see a few of those kicks, but granted, they were on the opposite side of training camp today. And I thought, well, the kicks looked okay. As far as, are they straight? That's my question. You can't get a really good view of it from where, all the fans are. I mean, when you're looking at the second field. Because for me, I have to have a certain angle, looking straight at the goalpost to be able to tell, Maybe it's just my eyesight, but I prefer to have that straight on look, to see. And that's where all the media people are, in the end zones. And I used to be able to hang out over in that area and get good looks at the kicker, and good looks at the angles of these kicks. So, now that I'm not able to do that anymore, I'm just kind of having to rely on those angles and hope that they look good. So as far as I'm concerned, it's preseason. It's preseason. I'm sure Joey will get it straightened out by the Jets game. I'm sure of it. It's really unusual to see these kickers push it to the right like that. And typically when they do, it's maybe it's a footwork issue, maybe it's a technique issue, something like that. So I'm not even going to spend that much time on it. That's not my concern right at the moment. My concern is with the special teams lines, just making sure that they stay disciplined and they don't cause penalties. Because if they cause penalties, that's a big difference in a game. So that's what more so what I was looking at when I was looking at special teams. And I always watch for that. So, as far as Greg Little, great move. You know, we weren't really sure if this man was going to make the roster or not. You know, his borderline. You know, hot seat. Yeah, and everyone's just shocked. You know, we moved up in the draft to get this guy, and honestly, I'm not shocked at all because you get at least one bust every set of linemen that you end up with. You know, whether it be offensive lineman, defensive lineman, you're going to end up with the fact that we traded up for that bust. That doesn't look good on our former GM, Marty. So yeah, I can see where people are coming from there when they're throwing some shade at Marty. And I don't blame them, you know? But at the same time, you can't completely throw Marty under the bus because we did get a few useful guys that are still here. So, you know, I'm hesitant to completely throw him under the bus for that one. With that in mind, let's keep this going. I also wouldn't mind us combining that pick we traded him for with another pick so we could trade up. That's a great idea, Corey. And that's something I want to kind of go over too because Scott does things a little bit differently. And he does things the way I would have done it. You know, when doing trade downs and moves right there where, you know, if you feel the need to push for a certain player, you can do it. You know, get those extra draft picks for players that you're not going to use. You know, if you're not going to use them, trade them if they've got some value. If you're going to end up cutting them anyway. And they're on the borderline, they've still got some value, trade them. We can always use an extra 7th. We can always use an extra 6th. That is always a positive thing. You can never have too many draft picks. You know, up to the league limit, of course. But, you know, you can never have too many draft picks. Because the more picks we have, the better our chances of getting a hit. And finding that gem late rounds. So you just never know. Granted, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, but, you know, once you find it, you can do a lot with it. And there's a few teams I've seen. Gettleman, to a degree, is good at it. You know, but again, these guys kind of wear out with Gettleman, though. And they only last about 3 or 4 years. That's really all the use you're going to get out of some of these guys that are late round picks for him. But for Belichick, these players last a lot longer. And they're a lot more valuable contracts because of it. They start moving up the depth chart year by year with training camps and preseasons. You know, and eventually you see them start. And that's kind of, I want to say that's what happened with Effie Obata with us. Because, I think he was an undrafted, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all have to correct me on that, but I think he was an undrafted. And he started moving up the depth chart. And wouldn't you know it? So there you go. You just don't know what you're going to see out of these undrafted guys or late round picks, you know, or guys that are supposed to be undrafted, you know. And once you get those guys, they will make the most out of their opportunities because they think, well, I'm undervalued or I'm underrated. I got to prove them wrong. I got to go out there and prove it, you know? And that's why you see these guys have like 1 year deals, prove it deals. And that's why. They come out there with that ball of fire, competitive fire, and they make these roster spots. And you think, huh, where did these guys come from? I'm not even familiar with this name. But for people like me that actually study these names, coming into the draft this year starting out, because I spent a good month studying the draft, which I normally don't do. And now I'm starting to really dig deeper into these draft classes and really start to learn this stuff. That's when you start to see some of these names pop up again in training camp. And you think, huh. Because, you're thinking, well, some of these names might pop up, some of them might not. But I'm not surprised to see them again. Because I know, based on the film study that I've done, based on the information that I've gotten, that these guys are going to start popping up again. And they're going to start popping off in training camp. So, when you start looking at trades like this, with Greg Little, it's actually genius. Nobody does this in the league. Nobody goes after 7th rounders. You're thinking, 7th rounders are worthless. They're camp bodies. They're practice squad guys, right? Wrong. 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 Pay attention to these guys because these are the guys that pop off in the last 2 minutes of a preseason game and show up at the last expected moment. You're not looking for them. Obata was definitely undrafted. He began his career in Dallas and then came to Carolina. There you go. Case in point. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he was undrafted. So, but he came over from London, and it's always the guys you least expect that show up. And again, I'm disappointed with the Colts for just running out the clock like that and not just trying to run the ball and test our defensive line, and test out their running backs. Do something. I understand game time situations during regular season, but this is preseason. Give these guys an extra rep or two. You'll be glad you did. You'll find out more about your running backs. You'll find out more about your opponent's defensive tackles, your linebackers, And I'm just sitting there like, this was a very classless thing to do by the Colts. That's just me. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, but it's something that kind of frustrated me a little. And I know the coach is never going to say anything about it. Neither is Scott Fitterer, but he's definitely thinking it behind the scenes. So let's hear from Scott Fitterer on these transactions, shall we?
Can you take us through the Greg Little trade and why you all thought that was necessary, how it came about?
Yeah, Greg's a great, young man. Just talking to him, he was excited. Some people just need a change of scenery sometimes, and I think it's going to be good for Greg. We got something in return, and Chris Greer is a good friend of mine. I've been talking to him on and off, for the last probably month and a half, 2 months about several different things. They had some injuries. They called yesterday, and it really all happened fairly quickly. But I felt the time was right. I knew where Greg stood on our team. He's a really talented young man. But I thought he'll have a great opportunity in Miami, and we wish him well.
All right, so I didn't realize that they had injuries going on in Miami. Nobody told me that through any notifications or anything. So, that's news to me to fill a roster spot up in Miami. So, or down in Miami. So that's wonderful. My other thing about this is the fact that well, I'll get into it in a little bit. I kind of lost train of thought. I had a thought, but I kind of lost track of it.
Scott, any positions you're seeing right now that you feel like you got to really keep an eye on to see if you can upgrade?
Before we get into that next response, let me see this message here. You're dead right. It's great for in-game situations, but this is preseason. See how your backup defense goes against a 1-minute offense? It's smarter to see how they handle the clutch situations than to win an exhibition game. Exactly. Thank you, Corey McKinney. Credit to this man right here. He gets it.
We're really looking at all of them. Always the offensive line, our depth on the offensive line, our depth at linebackers. Basically injuries force a lot of different things that you want to take a look at different players. And we've been bringing players through. It was safety early on. Right now we have a lot of numbers to safety, and we have a lot of good young guys that it's going to be hard to move on from, which is a good thing. But once we get through the game, there might be other positions. But right now it's really just building our depth. We kind of know who our frontline guys are, but just upgrading that, kind of that 25 to 53.
Scott, back to Greg. I know.
Okay, so from what I've heard, they seem pretty confident in the starting line that they held out, in the Indianapolis game, offensive line wise. There's an extra 2 or 3 that they feel confident with. I feel like Brady Christensen's one of them. Deontay Brown is probably going to be another one, if he gets healthy and gets back out there. But my guess as to the third one is probably Tacklenberg. I know that's a name that you wouldn't expect, but yes, I feel like it's Tacklenberg. So let's continue on. He may be talking about this a little bit, but I feel like that's probably the guy.
Second round pick on him, drafted up to get him. Do you think about that at all when you're trying to get something in return for him, or does that kind of just the investment this team made in him?
Well, a lot of the market's driven on what someone's willing to pay, and we all have different draft picks throughout our careers. I've been with Seattle for 20 years, and sometimes guys don't work out, sometimes they do. It's just the situation they're put in and the opportunity they have and the timing. So for Greg, this might be a great situation for him to really improve himself and take it to the next level.
Oh, and I also heard before I continue on with this and lose my thought, there were actually a few offers that came in for Greg. So, this is not the first one. So, I just want to point that out. The timing was right, with the Dolphins, so I feel like he chose the right team to trade him to. That was a good move.
What's your satisfaction level with the backup quarterbacks? And are there any veteran guys out there, or has that market been pretty well picked over?
I think right now it's been picked over pretty good. I was excited about PJ when he came in the game, running around, making plays. He created a lot of really opportunities downfield with his feet. The one thing I'd like to see him do more is maybe finish with the throw. But he's really kind of an exciting young guy to watch, and I like that style of play. It reminds me a little bit of Russell and some of the guys that can create opportunities on their own with their feet. We'll see a little bit more with maybe a different group this week. I thought he'd done some things really well in camp, but overall, we're going to keep an eye on all quarterbacks around the league, but we kind of like where we're at right now with PJ and Will.
Are you more confident?
Okay, question there. Can you find anybody that on the free agent list that is better than PJ or Will? Because PJ is overthrowing it, Will Greer is underthrowing it, and it leads to picks. So, the short game is not what I'm concerned about. Both of them can hit these targets, in short range. It's medium and long passing. That's where I've got a problem with both of them. And Will underthrows it in medium range and especially in deep range. That's a big problem. That's turnovers. PJ overthrows his wide receivers, so that's a dead drive. So again, if you can't find anything better than that on the free agent list, we are really in trouble.
Confident in PJ now than you were 3-4 months ago. Now that you've had a chance to see
But the
him and
playmaking
Yeah,
that these two
actually,
are able to do
that's
is good.
accurate. Once I saw him in a game
I will
situation,
point out the good
stepping
things
up,
that they
making
can do
plays,
too,
kind of
though.
seeing things downfield, keeping his eyes downfield, uh, that was good. That was, sometimes he has a little bit tough time in the pocket, seeing over the middle, but his ability to move and slide and keep his eyes downfield and make the big play, I like that.
Scott, when you watch like today's
He has that potential
practice,
for sure.
and you see the Ravens, who are a perennial playoff team, won so many games the last few years, and
Right.
you see yourself. So where do you see the main differences? Where would y'all need to get to go, to where the Ravens are right now?
Yeah, I think you really see it on the depth. The way the guys are built, the way they look, the speed. Once you get to that second team, I think we have a lot of really good high-end guys. But as we build this roster, that's the area we're trying to get better.
Through 53.
Exactly, exactly.
How long
So
does that
that's
take?
it can take a couple years, but I think we're trying to speed that up by bringing guys through all the time and picking over the waiver wire. I think the 53-man cut this year will help. We have good players on our depth right now, or in our
Right.
depth. But
We have
as
a
you
lot
saw,
of
like
talent.
the team out there today, those guys are stacked. That's a really good football team, and they're coached really well, and we're going to get there.
Scott, for a bigger picture story doing on Sam, going back to when you guys got him, I mean, there's been a number of high draft picks that have, you've been around the league a long time, in their second stop, after kind of failing out their first stop, so to speak.
Right.
Kelly Smith, Heath Schuler, RG3, that never really made it in their second stop. Why do you think Sam can be different?
I think you see other guys like Tannehill that do. I think it's just the offense that they're in. Sometimes the players that are around them, the coaching they receive, and I think Sam is going to benefit from a reset. He's got a really good coaching staff around him with Sean Ryan and Joe Brady. They're just kind of building the basics. They've had a reset, and like I said before, flush what he's seen, and we're going to build from there.
All right.
Kind of instrumental in bringing. I mean, I know you, but is there anybody else on the staff that was like, why don't we take a look at this guy if we can get him?
I think the whole thing started when Coach was watching tape of another player down the hall. He came down. I sit in the office with Pat Stewart, and he said, "Do you think Sam would ever be available?" And so we called up to Joe Douglas at that point, and we started talks. We started evaluating him, doing our homework. Why would we do this? We started asking ourselves a lot of questions. What's happened in the past? Why would we do this? We relied on our experience of scouting him at USC, knowing who he was, what they said back then, and just saying, this is a good guy to take a shot on. We like the opportunity here for him.
And you had done quite a bit of research on him.
That's interesting to
Yeah,
kind
we
of
did.
get the idea of the process, of the way they were thinking when they went about getting Sam Darnold. And you got to think these coaches and the GM do a lot of film study. They do a lot of scouting. They do their homework before they make these moves. And this crew knows what they're doing. So, yeah, I've got a lot of faith in them. I think if they believe this is the right move to make, with Sam Darnold, I'm about it, and based on what I've seen in camp, I'm still about it. I'm still on that train.
One thing, even though we had Russell Wilson there, we were always doing homework on quarterbacks, and so we felt comfortable with what we've done.
Having said that, you had the 5 quarterbacks were selected.
Okay, so did you notice that last statement? They're always doing homework on quarterbacks. They're not just doing homeworks on starters. They're doing homework on quarterbacks all around the league. So if those two feel like they are confident with PJ and Will, that tells me one of two things. One, the free agency is looking real thin, and the availability is looking real thin. And two, PJ is solid, if you can get his deep ball issue straightened out. And Will is looking solid if you can get his underthrow straightened out. So if you get both of those things straightened out, we're in great shape. I see no problems here. As long as you keep Sam Darnold's turnovers under control, we're we're in the money, you know, and we got a shot at winning some games. So I see where they're coming from here when they went after Sam Darnold. You know, because you like PJ before that trade, you know, because before that he wasn't overthrowing by a mile. You know, he wasn't throwing hospital balls as much as he was, you know, in camp this year. Yeah, you saw some back in 19 and 20, but it was very rare. It was less rare than it is this year. So, yeah, in Will Greer, you saw about the same, really, with the underthrows in deep ball conditions. But, yeah, if these guys seem happy and content with it, then by all means, stick with it.
This year in the draft,
If you feel like there's nothing in free agency or available.
days in the first preseason game, what did you make
So
of
that
that?
answers my question.
Does that give you any thought for, hey, maybe we should have looked
Corey McKinney
Well, we're really
says,
excited having
Corey McKinney says, if Sam is even decent, Fitterer will look like a genius. Exactly, man. Yeah.
Sam here and the ability to add JC with it. I mean, those are two players that we think can really help us. I didn't get a chance to see a lot of it. I did see like Justin Fields the series before the half, the series after, and you know, he played well. But we really like the guys that we have.
when you look at those things, I mean, Sam was in a group 5 of 2018 and 5, and you know, 2 of those aren't even with the teams that they were drafted by.
Excuse the yawn, guys. These early mornings are catching up, you know. I'm trying to stay focused
Yeah, I
for
think
you
you just
guys,
have to
though.
kind of keep a level head and know, hey, preseason, there's not a lot of scheming, there's not a lot of game plans to go on. You know, I think the first preseason games, there's, you know, we set a lot of our starters, and if you look at starters around the league, but I think quarterbacks in general are adapting quicker now to the NFL than they did 5-10 years ago.
Really? Most teams arrested their starters. Interesting. I was not aware of that. I thought we were one of the few that actually did.
And I'm happy for those guys.
During the evaluation process,
I have to check around then.
what were the factors that enabled y'all to
Realistically, I've only seen that
We
one
liked
preseason game
his
other than ours.
athleticism, his size, and especially the arm strength. Those things, the ability to throw the deep ball, we like that. And just everything they talked about the guy, the person that he is, the work ethic, the toughness, all those things really stood out.
You talked about
The ability to throw the deep ball, you know, again, we're touching on that. That's a hot topic right now with this channel. But most people are not going to say anything about it. But again, that hospital pass is why Keith Kirkwood got put in a vulnerable position where he got hit. You know, with Sam Darnold, you're looking good on the deep ball, I think. As far as I'm concerned, he looks good.
the offensive line. Is there a position group that you look at and say, okay, we're solid here?
I really like the receiving group right now. That's a really, you know, solid group. We've had a lot of depth to corner and their safety group.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be the guys. I think we have a good front line on that defensive line, but we just need to stay healthy.
What's your strategy?
Yep.
From an evaluation
Facts.
standpoint with this
Stay healthy. Keywords.
schedule, and do you think you'll see the starters this week?
Yeah, I think that's something Coach and I have talked about, and I think you see it league-wide where not a lot of starters go the first week. It's almost
Really?
the reverse of what it was in the past. I think the starters
Huh. Okay.
would play a quarter
All
or
right.
so in the first game.
So I was
more
mistaken
in the
on
second
that.
game, a lot in the third game, then the fourth game
Interesting.
they wouldn't play. Now with the roster cuts the way
Good.
they are from the
I kinda like seeing that.
5 on Tuesday, we're reducing another 5. That puts more rep practices, get a lot of reps in during the week, a lot of live reps, and then we can ease them in. And maybe that second or third game, I'll let Coach get into that and how he's going to play those guys. But that was kind of the thought process behind it.
Scott, and
Huh.
Matt's mentioned this the last couple times too, of pairing JC and Sam. With JC's part of it, I mean, he seems like he kind of walks in the door an older guy. I mean, I know he's a rookie, but that background with his family. Are there things you see in him on the practice field where it's like, okay, that doesn't look like a rookie?
He's got that alpha mentality. I think you guys saw that out there today. He was ready to do everything.
He sure
he's
does.
Vocal, he's tough. And a lot of guys can be vocal and not back it up. JC's the guy that backs it up. He's the real deal when it comes to that. And
Absolutely.
that's more the attitude and the toughness that we want our team to be identified with.
He
We need
reminds
more
me of an
guys
early
like him.
Josh Dorman
Scott, are there any deals?
when
I
he
know
first
we're
started his
in training
career.
camp, you said there were a couple conversations going on. Is there something
A
you're
lot,
looking to get done
actually.
before the season starts specifically?
There's actually a couple things that we're talking about. Nothing major that's going to like shift the dynamics of the team, but there's always talks about flipping picks, flipping players, and so those are ongoing.
Just so I'm clear on this, he's not up to the level of Josh Norman, but you know, he has the potential to come pretty close to what Josh did in his rookie year and second year. I feel like. So, just to clarify that.
Guy in the back end of the roster, CJ Saunders. He's a guy that we just picked up, back in OTAs. He's come out here and make plays. I'd say overall there's some really nice young guys that have made plays.
I did notice
We look
Saunders.
league-wide for what people are saying about their back end of the roster, so we don't want to expose too many players and give away our secrets. But we're pleased with a lot of the young guys that we brought in.
How'd you find CJ?
I'm happy with him too, actually.
Pat Stewart was an Ohio State guy, man. The guys loved him there. He was a walk-on that became a captain, and he just does a lot of things well. And he's a tough kid, so Pat really gets a lot of credit for that one.
Can you talk a little bit more about how J.C. Horn manifests an alpha mentality? That is an unusual thing to say about him.
You feel the presence when you walk in. He's a take charge type of guy. He's a no nonsense, just hyper competitive person, and so to me that's the alpha. That's the guy that's in charge. When he walks in the room, he takes charge, and you feel that with him.
Someone literally just
We
asked
want
that
more
question,
guys like
bro.
that
Come
on
on.
this roster.
How much
Change up your question.
around the league with his dad
Come on, media.
playing?
Do better.
Same type thing a little bit for Christian,
Mhm.
who came in a family type atmosphere too. So, how much of a factor you think is that?
Well, I do think it's a factor. I mean, his dad raised him the right way. He's wired the right way, and then a lot of that is, the kid has to be born that way too. You can push him and nurture him so far, but that kid's hardwired a special way.
Next question, please. Thank you.
Taylor at left tackle, right tackle, Cam Irving, that whole mix.
I think that actually Cam's done pretty well on that left side.
There we go.
You see him. I think the zone scheme really helps him out. I mean, he doesn't have to move a lot of guys. He's got the length and the foot quickness, and he's watching these guys. He's gone against some really good guys against the Colts today against the Ravens, and he's held his own, done a great job out there. So I think we feel good about him, and Taylor has done a nice job on the right side. If we have to put him on the left, he looks like he's getting more comfortable with his footwork. So there's some options.
Gotcha.
Do you find it at all, like, the depth at left tackle, do you find it all concerning that Taylor Moton's also, like... that
He's
no one
doubling down on
is
Irvin,
tackle,
guys.
that, there's not more depth at that.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna always look, especially left tackles are hard to find.
How do y'all
And
feel
tackles
about
in
that?
general, we've called around the league several teams, and it's almost like the same positions. Guys are looking for tackles. Guys are looking for pass rushers or corners. So they're really hard to find. No one's going to cut any, so you probably have to trade for some. But it's a position that we'd like to upgrade.
Scott, any
Is that foreshadowing of what we might end up doing? Is that maybe why we went after that 7th round pick? Something to keep an eye on, guys. You never know. Keep your eyes peeled.
seeking any talk or any progress about any contract extensions, like DJ Moore?
Fitter is an aggressive GM.
Yeah, we're working.
I
on,
like it.
One pretty significantly right now, and then another one's kind of on the come.
Hmm.
Terrence Marshall so far.
Terrace has done a great job for us. I think he's learning. He's working hard. The thing about Terrace is we've always known he's talented. He's just got to become more consistent and learn to be a pro and get in the playbook and study every day. We're really pleased with his progress. I think you saw the playmaking ability the other night on the field, and we see that out here on the practice field too. But it's just, he's got to realize he's got to keep pushing, keep raising his game, but he's doing well. Good time in here, huh? Any other questions?
Usually with Matt, it's a trade.
Yeah.
Is Robbie someone you look to extend?
Not to. I don't want to get into the specifics of certain players. Just contract-wise, I don't talk about it, and I think it's personal business to them. But obviously, he's one of the guys that would be next in line.
Good. Good. He's not going to throw that stuff out there, guys. Come on now. It's not that type of GM.
Just when the time is right. I think there's a lot of communication. I'm not going to say we're not going to talk during the season, but I think it's kind of an individual thing that we'll work through.
How was this process
Okay.
been for you coming in, GM, acclimation, Charlotte, Spartanburg?
Spartanburg's been great. I actually like it. The hard part is we left, went up to Indy. We had 4 good days in Indy. I got home, spent one night in my bed, and I was like, wow, this is nice. And then we're back down here. But, Wofford's been great for us. Guys, Mike Anderson, our football ops team, and, all the guys just worked so hard to make this great for us, and they've done a great job.
All right, everybody good? Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's it.
Come back here. Thanks for coming by, Scott.
After you guys start Rock Hill, you think, or even next year?
You know what? I have no idea. I'm not involved in that. I like it here, though. It's been nice, really nice. So.
All right, well, that is Scott Fitterer. You guys got a good look at his hot takes on the transactions and moves. So we're going to take a look at a few of them here. And we'll see how everybody's feeling about these. Now, keep in mind, there's always going to be that one player every year that people are going to get frustrated by, that we cut, that we should have kept on the team. There's always that one for me. For right now, I haven't found it yet. Out of the camp bodies, that are trying to make depth chart spots. But for me right now, off-season wise, it was definitely Yafi Obata. I was very frustrated when we got rid of him. That and Bradbury. That really frustrated me as well. But, generally speaking, I'm looking at camp body transactions, and this is where you're going to find that one player every year. So, let's take a look through here. And we're going to start with overall, I think we start with Mark and Michael. This is a guy that's been through our training camp a good number of times. We cut him, we bring him back. We cut him, we bring him back. The last couple of years. So, I don't know how to feel about that one. We got Steven Sullivan, reserve COVID list. We got... That's what, the third fullback now that we waived. We waived Mikey. We waived Rod now. And I think there was one other one earlier too that we had to waive a spot for so we could no, actually it was just 2. Okay, it was just 2. I thought it was 3. Maybe it just felt like 3 when you were looking through them. But so Mikey Daniel is a camp body. Not concerned about that one. Josh Burns, we signed on the 11th. We put Troy Pride on the IR. Does anybody have any updates on him? Because I have not gotten a chance to go through all of my notifications yet. So, if anyone's got an update on his injury, that's significant, as far as how much time he's going to lose, let me know. Yeah. Because I don't think they have an injury section yet. So, oh boy. Corey McKinney says ACL tear. Yikes. That's not good. And we're talking about a guy that was slated to be. Let me see where he was slated to be, actually. Yeah, he was supposed to be either second or third in the depth chart, at his spot. This is a significant loss right here. And he's out for the season. Thank you, Corey McKinney. Appreciate that, man. This man is a very, very important part of our defensive corners. So, that's why we have Jalen Julius. That's why we have. You got Rashad Melvin. You got Keith Taylor. Those are the guys that don't get really noticed as much. Everybody's noticed Thomas Oliver the third. Everybody's noticed Dante Jackson, J.C. Horn, of course, AJ when he was healthy. But you don't notice Melvin. You don't notice Taylor, and you don't notice Julius. But Julius has stood out recently, and I believe he has earned the right to battle for third spot, in my opinion. So if they highlight the defense again against the Ravens offense up front in that front field, then I'll take a look at it. Because if they do the same thing again, then you'll see the second stringers, you'll see the third stringers, and you'll potentially see the fourth stringers. So, since they've already shown the starters, they spent so much time on the starters, you'll see less reps from them since they're not going into the preseason game. But, yeah, that's what I would like to see. If they're going to do that, then, yeah, I'd like to see the entire depth chart at these defensive positions. Point blank, that's what I need to see. I would prefer to see the offense because of the wide receiver issues and the offensive line issues. I'm not too concerned about the defense. We haven't had really any defensive issues except for injuries, so, in linebacker position. But, to me, I would much rather see the offense. So, if there's anybody from the front office listening, then I highly encourage putting out the offense, and showing that off. I know it's a weak point for us, but for the people that are taking notes that are that are getting this on film, that are trying to take a closer look at the offense, I think it's a great idea. Because you could show off Sam Darnold, you could show off DJ Moore, and the whole with reps, and that's an opportunity you don't get in the Baltimore Ravens game on Saturday. That's also an opportunity you did not get in the Indianapolis game either. So, that's what I would prefer. If you guys want to change that up, that would be a great way to do it. Because there's a handful of players that I'm looking at on the offense. In particular, the offensive line. But, if you've been watching the streams, you pretty much know who those players are. They're doubling down on the 5 starters on the offensive line, so that's not really a concern to me. But I'll try to point out as many of them as I can. Yeah, you got CJ Saunders that was just mentioned. I'm keeping an eye on him. Micah Simon, I don't know much about. I'm looking at Dennis Daly that just came back in. I'm looking at Aaron Montiero. I haven't seen much of him. I want to watch his technique, his footwork, his hands, mostly his mechanics. I want to watch Richie a little bit. I want to see his hands. Can he recover and start catching some of these balls? That's what I need to see from him. I know his blocking's solid. I need to see his catching. At right tight end, I don't know much about Colin Thompson, and I don't know much about Steven Sullivan. So I'd like to see some reps from them. Obviously, Omar Bayless has already impressed me. Ishmael Hyman, I'd like to see a few catches from. That would be interesting. Krishan Hogan, and obviously Trenton Cannon. I need to see some catches from. The route running and the footwork, of course, because Matt Rule just pointed that out today. So, and, I've seen Chuba, I've seen Reggie. I already know what Reggie could do. We've seen him for a couple of years now. So, we already know what he can do. I'd like to see a little more of Rodney Smith. I got a good look at him during that Indianapolis game, but I'd like to see a little bit more during training camp. On that last day. Spencer Brown, I'm not sure which one of those two that we used more during that time period of training camp in the last week here. I want to say Rodney Smith, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, I'll look at Spencer Brown. I'll look at Darius Clark. I'll check him out. For right now, I think Spencer Brown's going to beat him out, but just my opinion. As of right now, I'm very, very satisfied with Reggie being in second string. I think that's a good move. Chuba is gaining on him, but I don't know, man. I don't know until I see a little bit more of him in that Ravens game. What's going to happen between that battle? So maybe we'll get a good look at him during that second day of training camp with the Ravens, but who knows? Who knows? I think they did use a little bit of Chuba and Rodney today, but I just didn't get a chance to see it since it was on the other side of the field. So, it is what it is, and we already talked about PJ and Will, so we've already gone there. Defensively, I got a real good look at Frankie Louvu today, and I was very impressed. And Louvu, again, let's talk about this man right here. 6'3", 235 pounds, and he is fast. He's fast. We saw a clip of him earlier. He had 17 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble last year. The guy's really, really skilled. I feel really confident having him in our linebacking core. I don't know about y'all, but I feel really confident with him at the moment. I think the management does too. We'll see. But yeah, he stood out today for sure. You got Haynes that stood out during that preseason game against the Colts. Davion Nixon, of course. Phil Hoskins had that one play as well in that Colts game. So, you're looking at these guys and you're thinking, okay, this is a solid group. It's a really solid group. I think Patty Fisher has potential. I don't know about Clay Johnston. I just still need to look at him a little bit more. Yeah, there's a couple of guys on defense. I was impressed with Kenny Robinson during that Colts game. I think he's got potential. again, I need to see more of Middleton and Cole, to make sure that, we're making the right decision with Kenny being second string. But I feel like we are. Sam Franklin's doing pretty well. Sean Chandler had a pretty good day too. I need to see more of Hartsfield, but and Karan Reed. We got a good look at Celestin during that Colts game, I think, and we all did. I think he's got potential. Again, we don't know much about Stanford, really. He didn't really stand out to me, anyway. Maybe he stood out to you, but he didn't stand out to me, and we all know Christian Miller is good, so this is a solid defensive crew here. I think we got a lot of talent here. We can possibly make a lot of noise, depending on who we want to keep. And I feel like a lot of these cuts are going to be like Trenton Cannon, Kershawn Hogan, Darius Clark. Maybe Spencer Brown is going to get cut. Hyman might end up on the practice squad because of the wide receivers right now. I feel like Steven Sullivan's going to be gone. Richie's going to be gone probably. We'll keep Mike Horton for sure. Ivy for sure. If I had to guess, probably Micah Simon's going to be gone. The rest of these guys, it just depends. It depends on a few things. So, so let's take a look at these comments here on Facebook. Let's see. The chat's cheesing a little bit. Sorry about that. Let's try to get to the bottom of these. Okay, there we go. That's the one I wanted. Come on, Facebook. Stop cheesing on me like that. You know what? Let me pull it up on the other screen. Since it's being cheesy right now. I gotta refresh this. But yeah, happy birthday to Taylor Moton, man. Number 72. That was a great honor to be able to hang out with the Panthers fans today that celebrated his birthday, so that was cool. Okay, here we go. I think it'll be 1 Djax, 2 Horn, 3 Melvin, 4 Taylor, 5 Thomas Oliver. There's a couple of hybrid players that could play safety or nickel that could shake up the 4 and 5 spots. This is Corey McKinney's opinion here. And Pride was expected to be like 4th or 5th. I'd say 3rd or 4th. At lowest. Before he got injured. And he also says Shy is playing punt returner. Let me look at this. I believe, yep, that's true. 2nd string punt returner and kick returner at the moment. We got David Moore at punt returner. We got Trenton Cannon at kick returner. So, So there's that. Let me see what else we want to talk about before we get my special guest in here in a few minutes. I'm just waiting on him to message me. Melvin is a monster. Check him out. No way Pride beats out Melvin. Honestly, I haven't seen much of Melvin to be able to tell you. You know, he didn't stand out to me in camp, and I didn't see much of him during that game against Indy, so to me, it's kind of a hard sell right now. But, once I check him out, then I'll be able to tell you what my opinion is on that. Okay. All right. So let me make sure there's nothing else that we want to cover before I bring in my special guest to talk. If I remember correctly, Melvin had a pass breakup in Indy. Did he? I think you might be right about that. I think you might be right. Let me actually. I'll check the chart and see if that's right. Because I think so. Because it should show up if it was. Because it should show up as a pass deflection. Let's see here. It would show up in the second half. Because I didn't see him in the first half. Okay. We're talking about Melvin here, so I don't see. Oh, that's the Colts guys. Never mind. What I should be looking at is these guys. Yeah, Melvin did have a pass deflection. You're correct. And Luvu actually had a sack in that game. So, credit to Luvu, man. This dude is just all over the place. The more I watch him, the more confident I am in him. And I'm surprised that no one's mentioning him. That may be one of the trade secrets that Scott Fitter is not talking about right now. In fact, I would be pretty confident he is one of them. Let's see. Surprisingly, they only targeted Omar Bayless one time during that game, and I would like to see him show up on tape a little bit, on offense. Zalstro was targeted 3 times. That was first half. That was PJ overthrowing him. So, I mean, I'm not ready to give up on this wide receiver core. I feel like there's a lot of potential there and a lot of talent there. So I'm not ready to give up on them. I think there's a lot that we can do with these players. Yeah. I think it's solid, man. We just got to get these guys to run the right routes and take care of the small stuff. So if we can do that, then improve the techniques, improve the hands, improve the small stuff, we'll be okay. But if we start to see the same bad patterns in the Baltimore game, then it's time to be a little bit concerned because that's 2 games in a row. That's an entire week that we haven't fixed that problem. You know what I mean? Like, that's when it's time to start really doubling down on these drills. During practices, that are closed off to the public after this. And I'm gonna point this stuff out, man. When I see it in preseason, I'm gonna point it out. So know that. I see each EZ3HSE says, great practice videos. Keep up the good work. Your page will pick up, bro. Keep pounding. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Panther Nation, 2 states, 1 team. Appreciate you, man. That's true. That's true. All day. Every day. 2 states, 1 team. There's enough love in both states. We're a family. Hopefully they will play some starters this week. Well, David, the thing is, we got to keep these starters healthy as much as we can. So I 100% am on board with this plan, that Matt Rule has right now. And most of these coaches have in the league right now of keeping these starters healthy. I think, you look around the league in recent years, look how many starters keep getting injured. Especially in the first 5 games. And it's becoming a trend in the NFL, and it's not a good trend. So these coaches decided, I don't know whether they did it individually or they did it collectively, but they're going to start taking some of these starters out and putting them into the 3rd preseason game, and giving them the reps then. And I think that's a wise idea, Plus, it gives you the first game and the second game to really, really look at these depth chart spots that you're trying to cut players from. And that 3rd game will just kind of be like, well, here's what's left over, from these depth charts position battles. Here's who's on the bubble. Here's who's on the hot seat. Do we keep these guys? Do we not? And go from there. So I fully support this plan, going forward through preseason, for any team, not just our own. The goal is to keep these guys healthy, and I've went on several tirades about that, where I've been like, look, we got way too many star player injuries. We got to do something about this. It's time to make some kind of a actionable move. And I'm so happy to see, not just our team, but league-wide, that to happen. Because it's been needing to happen for so long. It really has. And that's exactly how I would have approached it anyway. To start with, if I was a head coach, year 1, that's exactly what I would have done starting out, if I was to take over like right before OTAs, absolutely. I would have put that plan in place way before training camp ever started. You would have heard the announcement right away. This is what we're doing preseason wise. This is the step-by-step process that we're going to take. And Matt Rule is doing that. you know. But he's announcing this stuff as we go along, and that's perfectly okay. That's you don't want to, like you said, you don't want to pre-plan this stuff, and then get into trouble. During games, you don't want to outcoach yourself, or outplay yourself. That happens. That can happen. And it goes back to that whole mantra of don't beat ourselves. And I love that. I love the whole mantra of don't beat ourselves. God, I want to shake the hand of whoever came up with that. Seriously. You're a genius. You're seriously a genius, and I'm surprised we didn't come up with it sooner. We are world renowned for doing that in the last 5 years. Let's be real. Yeah, so we got our starting five set up. Now we need to work on the second team five on the offensive line. Who's it gonna be? Now we're looking primarily right now on that offensive line. He's doubling down on, I think it was Cameron Irving. Yep. I'm gonna double down on Eflin. I think he's solid. Starting crew. And this is besides the obvious ones of Taylor Moton and Matt Paradis. I'm gonna double down on Pat. I think he's solid. So now you go to the second team here. You got Trent Scott, you got Dennis Daly, Sam Tacklenberg, Deontay Brown, Brady Christensen. There's been a lot of positive talk about Brady Christensen. There's been a lot of positive talk about Dennis Daly, and I'm going to double down on Dennis Daly. I think he's solid. I'm going to double down on Sam Tacklenberg as well. And based on what I've seen from Deontay Brown in film, and what I've seen from him, highlight reels of Deontay Brown, I've been satisfied. And based on the Alabama games that I've watched, I've been satisfied with him. I think, this is a big guy. He's a big presence. And if we can keep him healthy out there, that's a beluga whale that we could use on this line. He's an anchor. Let me rephrase that. He's an anchor, I feel like. So now we're going to get a good look at Dennis Daly again, now that he's back. And I think they're going to discover that Dennis Daly is a solid guy, too. Because we were watching him last year. He looked okay, You're looking at a 6'6", 325-pound guard from South Carolina. We've had a lot of success with Gamecock players. And I'm happy with that, Best 53-man roster or best 55-man roster that we can build. Whether that be South Carolina players, whether that be LSU players, Baylor, Temple, doesn't matter. Best 55-man roster we can build, period, is what we want. So, I've been watching Dennis and I've been happy with him. I think that's what we want. So as far as this crew goes, I'm pretty satisfied with our second team here of offensive line. Yeah, welcome back, David. I actually did read off your comment about the starters But if you missed that, let me know. So then we got third string of Martez, Ivy, Mike Horton, Monterio, and we may bring in another guard. It's possible. But like Scott Fitter was just saying, offensive linemen, corners, and whatnot are hard to come by. So maybe we'll bring one in, maybe we won't. But don't be surprised if you see a transaction where we sign one. Because we are looking at about 2 right guards at the moment and 3 left guards. So, okay, you did miss that. Okay. So what I was saying is this is primarily for David here, since he missed this. The starters were held out for a reason. And the league is starting to do this. Scott Fitterer pointed this out, and it's a great thing. We are trying to keep the starters healthy. There's a huge trend in the league where a lot of the starters get hurt before week 6. So, and I apologize for those that are having to hear this again, but, this is going on league-wide now. So, for me to see the starters get most of the reps in game 3 of preseason and then iron out whatever's left of the depth chart spots that we have left and cuts is a very positive way to do this. It keeps these starters healthy. It lets us see more of the second, third, and fourth stringers, even fifth, and sixth, and seventh, at wide receiver and stuff like that. So it's a very positive way to do it. And I'm so happy to see this trend start because that's how it should be done. If you want to keep these guys healthy, that's the way to do it. And you're even starting to see a few of these starters get hurt in training camp too. I've heard of a couple of news flashes of that happening, which is not uncommon, but you want to try to limit that as very little as you can. Make sure that doesn't happen. I'll be talking about that a little bit more in depth with my special guest that's coming in. But yeah, that's one of those things. I want to see how New England's approaching that, because he's a New England fan. So you'll get to hear a little bit about that. You'll get to hear a little bit about Cam Newton and how they're doing too. So, it's one of those things that we should get heavily into detail on. But yeah, I like it. You had a rough day, man. I feel for you, man. And I'll tell you this, man. For anyone that's just coming into stream, you cannot use the 92-degree heat as an excuse today to be tired, to be non-energetic, and not practice well. Honestly, this has nothing to do with liking Instagram posts. This is the heat in Wofford, South Carolina. Like, this happens every day. And if I could brave it, you guys can too in pads. Honestly. Sorry you had to repeat it. I just feel like the starters need reps so they can get comfortable. Well, yeah. They'll get comfortable in the Pittsburgh game because the Pittsburgh game will really test you on every level. And I feel like that's the final test of this team in every single position. Can we solidify players in positions that in our depth chart. Any last minute depth chart position battles are going to get settled in that Pittsburgh game. I think, particularly in the second half. So be looking for that. So if you hear the coach saying, "Oh, well, there's a position battle here, here, here," watch for those specifically in the Pittsburgh game. If we don't settle those beforehand, which we should be able to in Baltimore. And the Pittsburgh game is really the final test of saying, well, hey, look, we've gotten all our kinks ironed out. This is what we want going into the regular season. Let's just make sure. Colts is test number 1. Baltimore's test number 2. Pittsburgh's the final exam. It's like, if we're not, these first 2 games are practice. All 3 of these games are technically practice, for the regular season. If we are not ready, it'll show up in the Pittsburgh game. In any area, it will show up. I'm telling you, that Pittsburgh crew is so well depth every year. I'm very, very impressed with the coaching staff of Pittsburgh. That they have managed to build that type of a roster every single year consistently, before making cuts. They build a lot of talent there. They grab a lot of good talent off that free agent list. And a lot of it's already on their roster before they start out training camp. So, that's just to keep in mind. And some of these guys end up practice squad for a couple of years. Some of them end up in coming back for the next training camp, So there you go. It's a lot of really, really good talent. So that'll really test us at every level. Do you think Will Grier is cut after preseason? No. I think, with the underthrown balls, we still need to carry 3 quarterbacks with the amount of injuries that we've had at quarterback. So no, I don't see a cut there. If there's going to be a cut there, it's probably going to be PJ. If at all. Because of the overthrows. The amount of overthrows and the incompletions. Which, if you watch the Colts game, Will Grier only got 10 attempts. You can't judge a man on 10 attempts at quarterback. I'm sorry, you just can't. That's not a proper measuring stick. For all the couch quarterbacks out there that think they know more than the coaches out there, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Anybody can hit 6 out of 10. On short passing. Anybody can do that. Maybe they get a lucky deep ball. There were a couple of good throws by Will. I will say that. Out of those 10 attempts that he had out there. But, anybody can throw short passes on that free agent list. Find me a quarterback that can't. That's the real challenge. And I've said that on multiple streams, and I'm going to keep saying it. So, but with PJ, those overthrows and those hospital balls, we don't need more injuries to our wide receiver core that's already struggling. We don't need that. Keith Kirkwood is just the beginning. If we put PJ at second string, that's just a tipping point of wide receiver injuries if we keep throwing hospital balls. That's not good. Especially against live opponents. We get into a preseason game. These guys hit hard. They bring everything in the kitchen sink because they want a depth chart spot. They're trying to win a position battle. They're not trying to do reps and drills anymore during games. So these guys are going to come at you like a freight train. So if any of our wide receivers are throwing hospital balls and they're put in vulnerable positions, boom, that's an injury. Boom, that's an injury. Boom, that's an injury, and it's going to pile up. I'm telling you. We can't have that. That's why Will Greer's got to be second string. I'm going to keep making that case until it happens. So, just want to say you deserve more views in your channel. You're on point with your football. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that's subbed and has liked my streams and videos. Y'all are awesome. This is a family, and I appreciate everybody that's here. We're a crew. And everybody stuck by, and we all value each other's opinions equally. I think it's awesome. We keep it chill here, but we keep it realistic, and all of it's for love, of the team. We want to see the best 55-man rosters out there. We want to see these guys compete for division titles and playoff spots and eventually a Super Bowl. So, and the way we go about that is just, it starts with us, as fans representing ourselves well and showing that love, to the rest of the league and to the rest of the people just now learning about football, that are just coming in, the younger generation. You got the flag football kids, you got the junior leagues and stuff like that. We want to be able to represent ourselves well, and encourage these kids to really love this game that we love as much as some of the parents, out there that are parents of players, and that have taken the time to devote all these hours to helping their kid, go through college, get into the NFL, and make their dreams possible. So, we all love this game equally. Yeah. I made a wish for the Panthers this year, but can't say. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I just want to say, if you guys want to look at these stats for yourselves, after these games, check out the final stats here. That's where that'll show up, or the box score. And it pretty much outweighs every stat in these games. And I think it's a great teaching tool for anybody that's interested in learning about, certain players. But again, I do want to stress that the stats are half the battle. You're looking at half the picture here. Seeing it on tape is the rest. Watching these guys on Sundays is the rest. So once you're able to do both and put both pieces together, then you get a full picture of what you're really looking at. I really wish I had seen more of the offense today. That was the only really disappointing thing that I came away with today out of camp. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get Kenny in here. Okay. He's gonna be on the Facebook one. not 100% sure on how to do this, so bear with me for just a moment as I try to figure this out. Because Facebook is kind of a new thing as far as how to add people to live streams and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to figure that out. I don't know how to actually add him. I did it once successfully. You know, and I'm using Streamlabs on YouTube, so for anybody wondering. But let's see. I don't know. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, we're bringing in Kenny. He's been on my Facebook streams before, so and he adds New England information, you know, Patriots stuff. So we're looking forward to a little bit of insight from how Cam Newton is doing and all that. And keep in mind, I did not watch the New England preseason game, so hopefully this will go well. All right. What's up, Kenny? How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. And if you guys are not familiar with him, why don't you tell him a little bit about your sports page on Facebook?
I do Underdog Sports. We do all sports on there. We do basketball, baseball, football, whatever sports y'all want to go over. We'll go over in the live stream. Y'all want to join? Request.
All right, so yeah, if you guys want to check out that page, go for it. As of right now, I think he just kicked that page up as recently as last week. Again, it was kind of dead for a while, but you know it's up now.
I updated it last week sometime. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I went like a month and a half without posting on it because I was working on other stuff for other pages, getting my other pages built up. But
right,
I'm back on it now. It's up to 40-something members now, so we're good.
Dude, that's awesome. I wish you the best of success with that, and I'm helping out with that page a little bit too every once in a while. But so if you see me on stream on there occasionally, that's why. So I wanted to go over a little bit about did you see any of the New England preseason games yet?
I've seen bits and pieces of the first one.
What did you think so far of Cam Newton? Did they show him, or did they take starters out?
He started. He played 2 series.
Huh? Only 2 series. Interesting.
He had 2 series. I think he threw the ball 8 times. He ran the ball 8 times, but he didn't score none. But
okay.
Then they brought in Mac Jones for the next 3 series. He threw for over 100-something yards and got 2 touchdowns.
Right, so, I saw the Mac Jones series that they had.
I mean, and that's the thing also. If y'all want to have a series on my page of a team and going over different games, I do that. I review the start of football season. I will do a Sunday recap after Sunday Night Football every Sunday night.
There you go. So if you're interested in checking that out, go for it. Again, that's Underdog Sports on Facebook. So, the reason I brought that up is because a lot of these teams, and we just heard from Scott Fitterer that a lot of these teams are holding out starters in the first 2 games. We decided to do that in
Yeah,
Carolina. So I was wondering what your thoughts are on that.
I've always been pro and con on that. It's good because you can you can look at all the other ones that you have in the first game. But since the preseason's been cut down to 3 games, I think you need to start who you want to start as quarterback in the second game and build from there for the third one. So when y'all come ready September 9th for that very first Sunday, you have all your teams ready for September 9th when the very first game takes place.
But as I was telling my stream, this is about keeping starters healthy, and
Yeah,
there's been a huge trend in the league about starters getting hurt, and it's happened a lot before week 5 even, and these
I
coaches
agree
started
totally.
seeing this and saying we got to do something, and it gives them a chance to look at the deeper depth chart spots and really hash out these position battles more so
Yeah,
than yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
Patriots suffered it, the Saints suffered it, the Panthers suffered it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it was an injury-prone season last year. We need to find a way to keep these teams healthy so we can have competitive seasons, competitive games, and all that competitive division, so we get the best out of the teams and the divisions in the sport.
Absolutely. And a lot of these starters are ready by like week 1, of preseason. At the end of that week 1, there's like, well, I'm ready to go for week 1 season. And I
Prime
think
example.
Brian Burns
Prime,
was one of them that said that, and
prime
it
example.
may have been
Look
J.C.
at Tom
Horn,
Brady.
but I think it
Look
was
at Tom
Brian
Brady.
Burns.
The Bucs ain't gonna start. The Bucs ain't gonna start him none this preseason.
I think
But I
that's a
guarantee
smart
you he'll be
idea.
ready for week 1.
I think that's a wise idea. Consider his age and consider the Bucks offensive line. You don't want to get him broken up before you start the season.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
And
So
it's just like everything else that goes on in the world, like and everything that's been going on with the pandemic last season, and how there was no fans. You got to think this season they're gonna have fans.
right.
It's gonna be a completely different ballgame. When you're at home, you're gonna have your home fans rooting for you again. That brings out the
Absolutely.
best in people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they got a lot of quarterback battles in the NFL that ain't settled.
That's
One
true.
of them, both of them, actually, 2 of them faces in my 2 teams, in the Patriots and the Saints. We don't know who's gonna be the week 1 starter. Cam Newton, Mac Jones. Who's gonna be week 1 starter in New Orleans? Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill. Who's gonna be the starters?
And again, you've got another one going on with Justin Fields too.
I think he needs. They won't. Okay, Mac Maganani, the head coach for the Bears, has stated that he wants to start Andy Dalton and then bring Justin Fields in the second half. To me, it seems like it's going to be like it was in Philadelphia last year. You start Carson Wentz, you bring in Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Jalen Hurts shines, and then he gets the starting job.
Right.
I think it's going to be the same way with Justin Fields.
I think that'll be battle to watch.
I do too.
Like I
Speaking
say,
of that, I just picked my fantasy football team last night.
yeah, I just got word from my league that I'm going to be drafting here soon. So,
Well, I just drafted, but my team is stacked.
Speaking of which, if you're all interested in the Keep Pounding Facebook, the Keep Pounding Fantasy Football League for Yahoo Sports, just let me know in the chat, in the comment section, or on Facebook, or on his page, even, if you're interested in that. And I'll check those responses, and I'll get you information in a private chat so we can get that going. I was
Yeah,
gonna do autographs for the top 3 winners, from Panthers
yeah.
training camp, but unfortunately they're not allowing that. So, until the COVID restrictions are over,
Well,
understandably. But
I do the I do the ESPN. I do ESPN fantasy football along with my own little fantasy football league. But the ESPN fantasy football is the one I just entered in. I just picked.
right.
But like I said, my team's stacked.
Uh
When they was drafting, they was drafting players, they drafted receivers and running back with the first 4 rounds.
yeah.
I picked 2 receivers, then I picked a running back, but then I snuck up on them and I picked 2 quarterbacks back to back rounds.
Nice.
I got
Um
Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady both on my team.
I just want to reiterate to my stream that you will get a signed letter from me if you're the top 3 winners. Thanking you for participating, and eventually, we'll have surprises for the top 3, every year that we do it. So I just
Yeah,
wanted to jumpstart that this year and get that started,
and
because
maybe next year, by this time next year when football season starts around, maybe me
right,
and Corey can plan something between both of our pages, both of our
right,
channels, to where
mm,
we will do fantasy football together and start up a league that way.
right. Um, I think my channel is still going to be doing the Keep Pounding one anyway. I don't want to
Yeah.
over push, fantasy football for me. You know,
I mean,
3 leagues is a
like I
lot
said,
to keep up with, with everything else going on. So,
I do 3.
as of right now, I'm gonna stick with 2. But if things allow, then I'll try to get into yours as well. If you start one. But that's just for right now. So if you guys are interested in that, just let me know, guys. Uh, Getting into the chat here. Here's a fun fact: when Sam Darnold was getting drafted, he was a high prospect and compared to Brett Favre. Wow, I didn't see that.
He actually really was. I mean,
I
if
never
it's an
saw that
comparison to
comparison,
him and
but
Brett Favre, but y'all also got to look at the team he was on.
right, I never saw that comparison, but I'll take your word for it.
Oh yeah, that man.
Yeah,
When he got drafted, it was like that. But you got, like I said, you got to think. Look at what team he was on before he came to Carolina. And I'll say this proudly, being a Patriots fan, he was on the Jets, who sucked.
I am glad you brought up Brett Favre because I want to bring up another point, of conversation topic that I wanted to go over with you. Green Bay and the Aaron Rodgers situation right now. Now, Aaron Rodgers is not the first quarterback to be screwed over by this Green Bay management. Brett Favre was before that. So, you know, uh, looking at how Brett Favre handled the situation, I would, I'm not too thrilled with Brett Favre's handling of that situation either. But you know, Aaron Rodgers is not happy, understandably. He's voicing his opinion. And
But
he's doing everything he can do without doing something stupid like Brett Favre did. So he's trying
but
not to fall into that trap. So
he
I
got his deal. He got his deal done that he wanted. Though. I mean, they took
right,
away the 3rd-year option on him. They gave him this year and next year if he wants it, and then he's a free agent.
right,
That's what he wanted to begin with.
right,
They took away the 3rd-year option. But I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of ironic how when he signed and he came back, Devontae Adams started being in talks with him too about re-signing.
right. And a lot of these guys follow the quarterback's lead,
I
and
don't know if you about them or
there's always that one star player
45 streams.
where they just follow a certain player's lead, star player's lead. If they see contract talks go well, they'll start doing it too. If they see a certain player leave, then they'll leave too. You look at the situation in Houston where you had Nuke head over to Arizona. that prompted J.J. Watt to leave. That prompted a lot of good Houston players to leave, and we ended up with a couple of them in Carolina. So, at the same time, like, I'm not complaining that we ended up with these players, but I hate it for Houston, the players that are still there.
It's the same way it was in New England. Look at New England. Brady left. It started the effect.
Yeah, it started the domino effect. And I hate it for all the players and the fans that are still sticking by Houston right now because that's got to be rough. You still got Watson out there, but he's not participating in team drills.
No, he don't want. I don't see him playing none this year.
I don't either.
He don't want to be in Houston.
I don't either. So we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that backup starting against us in the Houston game in week 3. But I think it would be wise to prepare for Watson anyway because it's the NFL and anything is possible. What if Tyrod goes down? And you get
that's like
you got no one else, and Watson decides, oh, now I want to be a part of the team. Now I want to do something, and he's your best chance of winning. Pop him in.
That's like us in New England. We're coming to y'all this season to play Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
The question though is it going to be Cam Newton's return to Carolina back, or is it going to be
I believe it will. I believe it will because it sells tickets. It sells tickets. And
I think and this is my opinion being a Patriots fan, I think the only time Cam Newton might start this whole entire season is
I want y'all to see, hold up. I want y'all to see what the ticket prices are looking like right now for that New England game. Let me just point these out to y'all. Hold up. I'm loading them up right now. We're looking at like $90 for the cheapest ticket right now. And that's like the high rise, like nosebleed section. You're looking, it goes all the way to like 780 plus. And this is in Charlotte. People are coming to see Cam Newton.
I appreciate this. I got to get up early in the morning because I've got 2 live videos to do tomorrow, plus another video on YouTube. If y'all want to come check out Underdog Sports, check it out. When I do my videos, I tell them the same thing. Y'all want to come check out my buddy Corey's channel, Corey's page, come do it. Support him. Give him the love that y'all give me.
I appreciate that, man.
If y'all want to talk about more sports, y'all want to hang out more, y'all want to have an in-depth more conversation about different sports, come to Underdog Sports. We'll talk.
Absolutely.
I'll talk to you tomorrow, Corey. It's been real.
Pleasure having you on the stream, man. As always. Look forward to doing it more.
Hopefully we'll do another one soon. I can hopefully get on here earlier the next time when we can have more time.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, we'll see y'all. Peace.
Have a good one. All right. That is Kenny from Underdog Sports. So I just wanted to bring him in and get his opinions on a couple of things. So, thank you to him. But, this further proves my point. Look at these, $120, and you're looking at, like, these section over here, you got 250, 349. I don't know where these PSL seats are, but, you got even just the high rise at 135. This is Cam Newton coming to town sells tickets. Point blank. It sells tickets. And you never see any of those types of prices from any of the rest of these games throughout the rest of the year. You think, is anybody going to pay those types of prices for New Orleans? Anybody going to pay those prices for the Eagles, Vikings, Falcons? Nah. Dolphins even. Tampa Bay maybe because of Tom Brady, but I mean, this is, Cam Newton we're talking about here. People want to see him play. Whether it be in a Panther uniform, whether it be in a Patriot uniform, they want to see him play in Boa. So, it's not surprising to me at all. So, that in mind, we got one more day tomorrow, early. So I don't want to stay on here streaming too much longer, but I'll stream a little longer for you guys, because I know you guys enjoy hearing me go over stuff. But I wish I had been able to get to that one section where Scott Fitterer was talking about the league rule change. Yeah, does anybody know about that? I have no idea what he's talking about. I want to say it's about position battles, but let me run that back for you guys. Hold up. We got to get rid of this ad, of course, but hold on. Let me run that back for everybody. Forget what section it is. It's late in that video though. And y'all tell me what you heard when we get there. Y'all tell me what you hear. Yeah, stupid ads. Do I agree with the Brett Favre comparisons? Perhaps. Mechanics wise, hands wise, feet wise, yes, I would agree with that. But I mean, a lot of quarterbacks fit that description when you deal with those sections. Accuracy wise, perhaps. Yeah, I'm not gonna totally jump on that bandwagon there, but maybe. Let's see if we can get to the specific section where he talks about.
I think there's a lot of communication. I'm not going to say we're not going to talk during the season, but I think it's.
I don't remember what section it was. Y'all help me remember. It was one of those weird questions. Anyway, I'm not gonna worry about that. For those that missed my stream about the post game indie stream, let's take a look at Patty Fisher here. We got 6 combined tackles, 4 tackles on his own, so he can open field tackle. So we've seen that now. And this is how valuable Troy Pride Jr. is. 5 open field tackles on his own. But his coverage is a little weak. And that's been a thing. So you can see in these stats, why certain players on this defense are incredibly valuable and why we cannot afford to have them go down with injury. The Jets didn't do Sam Darnold right. No quarterback coach, no O-line, no weapons. That's the Jets, though. Point blank. Since when have the Jets in the past decade ever put up a decent offensive line, a decent coach that knows what he's doing? And Honestly, Brett Favre was the only smart thing I've seen them do in the past 20 years. Point blank. Maybe Cromartie, but, that's, Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson. I'll give you Sam Darnold and Robbie Anderson. I'll give you those two. Even without an O-line, even without all the weapons that he has here, both of those guys have here around them, those two were very, very successful up in New York. Those two propelled the Jets to get back in the hunt for a wild card spot. It's rare when you see that from Jets players these days. So we pretty much gotten every good Jets player that's out there and put them in our team. Besides Cromartie, who's already retired. They had a huge, good history of corners in New York Jets. I'll give them that. Cromartie was good. They had a few others that caught my eye. And I said, ooh, what if these guys become valuable and they become available? What's the market value? What are they looking for? And the Jets management has no idea what they're looking for. They have no clue. They have no idea. It's basically like dipping your hand in a glass bowl of suggestions and just going, ooh, well, maybe we should get this player. Nah. Let's dip in there again. Let's try this one. Nah. And all of a sudden you see all these good players leave the Jets because they're so tired of the management misusing them and wasting their careers. And at this point, the only reason you're going to New York to the Jets is just to get a bag. Realistically, that's all you're doing. Anybody that gets drafted there, I would suggest try to get traded after 2 years. Build up your value. Make New York a farm system, and then start farming these players out. That's the only way at this point. Until you get proper management that actually cares about the players and knows what they're doing, it's just going to be a farm system. And I hate that for Jets fans. I really, really do. And I feel your frustrations. I do. I understand your frustrations because Carolina at one point was a farm system for good players. As soon as we got them healthy and doing well, they were out. Under Ron Rivera, if you were a good player in the last 4 or 5 years, before Matt Rule took over, and you were worth something, out the door. We're not paying you. Out the door. Whoever wants them gets them. And I hate that. For the players that came through here and they were treated like a farm system. I hate that. Because that's not who we are. That's never been who we are. Since Jerry Richardson first formed this team, that has never been who we are. We're family first. We care about these players first. We understand it's a business, but at the same time, it's family too. And the balance has shifted 50-50 now under Matt Rule's tenure, where it should be, to where these guys understand it's a business. They may not stay, so they got to prove their worth. But also, we love you like family. And once a Panther, always a Panther. And that's how it's always supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be, man. I've always wanted it like that. And I know you guys have too. And ladies as well, Come on. Man. That's how it's supposed to be. Always. That's how we want to represent ourselves to the league. Into the newer generation of football players that want to get drafted here. You know? Now you're starting to see players that are starting to get on board with what Matt Rule is doing. You're starting to see players that see Scott Fitterer and what he did with the Legion of Boom and say, ooh, I want a piece of this action. You know? This team could be a playoff team. We're on the verge. We got 6 wins. Maybe next year, you follow Matt Rule's what is it, record that he's had, his history. Second year, you're looking at 10 wins. Granted, this is the NFL, but you're looking at 10 wins if you follow his track record. And these players that are just coming out of college say, ooh, not bad, not bad. This might be a place where I could be treated as family and be valued and actually get paid the proper amount that I'm supposed to get paid, and not like overvalued or undervalued, you know, it's based on merit. That's what it's supposed to be. You come into these training camps and you put in the effort, you're going to get a contract. You're going to get playing time. You're going to get reps. You're going to get time on Sundays at some point down the road. If you work hard and you impress the coaches, and this is how it's supposed to be. I'm very, very happy with the way we are presenting ourselves right now. This is good, and it should stay that way. You look at Steve Smith, he's back. Steve Smith hated Gettleman. There was some bad blood there. And the reason why is because Gettleman was only focused on the business part, which, it was good for the success of the team, but it was bad in the instance of keeping these players around in contract-wise. He was horrid about that. Absolutely horrible. And he's continuing that same trend in New York. So, the man might be really good at spotting some of these hidden gems, in drafts. But at the end of the day, if you can't manage your money correctly with these players and you can't treat them, as family, as the Carolina standard should be, you're not going to have a job here much longer. And thus why he's up in New York again. There you go. Yeah, and Marty took back over and he said, okay, well, we're going to get the players that we need. But, then you started questioning, are we going to see Marty 2.0? Is he going to start screwing up the contracts too? Because Marty was horrendous with contracts in his first time through here. Let's be real. Horrendous. He was even worse than Dave Gettleman, if you can believe that, because he put us in cap hell. Point blank, he put us in the negatives, in the red. Gettleman never did that. So, I just want to point that out to people that are anti-Gettleman. And then there's the other aspect of, well, Gettleman picked horrible players. Well, if you take a look at a few of these players, they're still floating around in the league. You got Vernon Butler out there. You got a few players that ended up in Buffalo. McDermott saw some value in them. So don't be so quick to write off these Gettleman picks. You know what I mean? Like, and McDermott knows how to use these guys. Look at 14 and 15. He knows how to use them. That's why this man is doing so well up in Buffalo. So he knows how to use these players to the best of their ability and use them for their advantages. So, and Gettleman did have that ability to find those really above average players in the drafts and use those and plug them in the right spots in the depth chart. And Ron Rivera helped out with that. And I'm not saying they were the best chemically balanced GM and head coach out there, but they did the best they could, So, oh yes, Luke Kuechly in Buffalo. We need to discuss this. That pissed me off. I don't understand why. If this man is retired, he doesn't want a scouting job with us. Why is he up in Buffalo? He's a career Panther. Took a scouting job with us. I get it. You can't handle the scouting job. It's fine. It's grueling. It's tough. Look at all the stuff they have to do with that scouting job. You got to travel a lot. You're on planes. You're driving across the country. It's a tough job. Give him credit. It's a tough job. Not everybody can handle it. And I mean, you're talking about Luke Kuechly, who had like 2 concussions, and he's worn out. I get it, man. You can't handle it. But you're going to go up to Buffalo and evaluate a player and evaluate a defense? Do you want to be a part of that Buffalo team? Management team? I don't get it, Luke. I don't get it. I mean, maybe we're reading too much into this, but he only looked at a couple of players. Maybe I misread it, but and I kind of quick read it. So, because I go through a lot of info, every day. So, maybe I just misread it, but it seemed like he was just evaluating a couple of players and just visiting McDermott. Which is maybe he's just happened to evaluate these players while visiting him, and a few of the staff members that used to be with the Panthers in 14 and 15. Maybe that's the case. But, it rubbed a lot of Panthers the wrong way. A lot of Panthers fans are not happy. We're talking about a man that we put on our ring of honor doing this right here. We put him on our ring of honor in our stadium. He had full accolades. I got a shirt with all of his accolades on it. And I'm going to be wearing that to training camp tomorrow. So, this man's going to go up to Buffalo and do this nonsense. I don't know, man. I don't know. He is the perfect representation of a Carolina Panther if I've ever seen one. And to see him do this, I don't know, man. he's butthurt because he didn't want a new coaching staff. Well, I think maybe you're reading too much into it, David. I think let's try to be optimistic here. And this is normally I don't do this on this channel, but I'm gonna kind of go out on a limb here and play a little devil's advocate here and say, well, maybe he's just visiting Scott Fitterer and some of the crew from 14 and 15. He said, okay, well, while I'm here, maybe I'll check out a player or two. And honestly, if you're still loyal to the Panthers and the organization and the fans, then I see no problem with that. But if you're going up there and you're actively looking for a job in Buffalo, oh yeah, that's gonna piss everybody off in Carolina. That's gonna piss everybody off that's a Panthers fan. You don't want to do that. We got really frustrated when Thomas Davis left us. And I'm just really, really thankful that he decided to retire a Panther. That made me nervous. Honestly, that made me really, really nervous. And as far as Greg Olsen, I don't blame him if he were to retire a Bear. I wouldn't blame him. I'd be like, okay, well, that's your choice. You've earned that right to do that. You weren't originally a Panther. We traded for you, So I got no problem with that. If that was his wish. But thankfully, his wish was to retire with us. And that just speaks to how great of an organization that we are a part of. You know what I mean? Like, it speaks to how well we value our players. And the fact that Steve Smith is back, presentation that we are putting out there. And finally, it's back. That reputation is back. And that's what's going to make players in college want to get drafted by us. Whether we can compete for a Super Bowl or not. If we can at least compete for a playoff spot, and we show that kind of representation, players are going to want to come here. Point blank, they are. LSU, Ohio State, South Carolina players, Georgia players, they're going to want to come here. They're going to want to be drafted here. And you should be excited, if you're a fan of any one of those college teams, that is consistently up there, that we have a shot at drafting. Because your player is going to get scouted. Guaranteed in the SEC. Guaranteed. You look at how many players that we have scouted, from our crew. We were looking at Florida players. We were looking at, as far down as Florida for many years. So for those players to have this opportunity and to have that welcoming feel when they come into Carolina is just like, oh, man, this feels great. This makes me want to play this game that I love, without worry. To put all my energy and time into contracts and trying to figure out how much money I should be making, and this, that, and the other. Nah. You walk into Boa, it's family. 100%. You feel the love as soon as you walk in there. Whether you be a fan, staff, player, or incoming rookie. You feel the love. And that's what we want. that's what entices these players, whether they be free agents or whether they're rookies. So that's awesome, man. It's funny to me. Luke Kuechly retires when Rule comes in, then becomes a scout for us. Retires. Now coaching the Bills. Are you kidding me? Well, he's not coaching the Bills. He didn't actively pursue a job up there yet. Unless y'all heard something I didn't. Which, for right now, news of any interest in a job up there for him. So, right now, my devil's advocate idea stands. So, yeah. I think I know they've added a lot of Kuechly's players there and Sean McDermott. Well, that was before Luke retired. As a matter of fact, they were adding players way before he retired. He was in Buffalo gear? Are you sure about that? If you got a link, man, show it. I'm interested. Because this is the first I'm hearing about him being in Buffalo gear. Let me look around. Because I didn't see anything. But maybe I'm wrong. Right. Kuechly, Buffalo Bills. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay. This is the article. It was Panthers Wire, USA Today. That's the article I saw. And they don't show any video on there of him being in any Bills gear. Which video are you talking about? Link it in chat, if you don't mind. Because as of right now, I'm not seeing anything. I mean, I could be wrong. Okay. He has been working with an NFL team this week. Okay. This is the Spun Sports Illustrated. So that's the next article related to it. Okay, he was at Bills practice again today. This time on the field watching the linebackers work. Saw him taking one-on-one with Tremaine Edmonds during positional work, as well as others on the sideline during 11-on-11. Oh, it's on Big Cat's channel? Huh. Oh, boy. I'll check that out in a second here. I'm just finishing up this article. Okay. Ugh, excuse the yawn, guys. But, yeah, okay. We can go find that. Hold on. We can definitely go find that. I think it is worth it. Alright, so we're going to go to his channel here. See if we can find it. Screen is frozen. My apologies, guys. Yeah, I believe you. I believe you. There it is. Okay. Let's take a look at this.
God damn!
I apologize in advance for the language that you're about to hear because Big Cat is, well, Big Cat. You know, it is what it is, right? Let me get these ads off of here. Okay. Don't care. Alright, so, yeah.
Not only is he up here, shit, he athletic, strong, big, run, great defense. Wow, Luke. Come on, G. With connections to both McDermott and general manager Brandon Beane, it seems if there's an open spot to coach, the Bills will take all they can get from the 2013 Defensive Player of the Year. Wow. To me, this seems like a fucking job interview. Am I wrong here?
Wow. I wanted to get to the video of it.
Good time.
Are you serious?
Look at this shit here. Damn, Luke, you broke my heart, guy. Teaching niggas how to be great and shit, bro. Look at this, man. As if we don't need all the fucking help we can get. Look at this shit. Look at this shit, man. Damn, this shit hurt, bro.
I don't believe what I'm looking at right now. Yeah, it's all good, David. I've shown his videos on this channel before, on these streams, so it's all good. People understand who Big Cat is, so it's cool. But yeah. I am not believing I just saw that. Are you freaking kidding me, Luke? This man puts how many years into this organization, retires with us. We put him in our circle in Boa. And now he's looking for a job at Buffalo? That is betrayal right there. That's a knife in the heart. Oh boy, Panthers fans are not going to like this around the country and around the world. They're not going to like this. The perfect embodiment of a Carolina Panther right here. In a player uniform. And he's going to stab us in the back like that. Boy, howdy. I ain't believing I just saw that. I don't even know what to do with this info. I don't even know what to do. Luke was my favorite player on this freaking team. He was my favorite all-time Panther. And he's going to do this to us. Disgusting. Man, God. Well, that just put the stream into a sour note, didn't it? I appreciate you letting me know about that, David. Thank you. I mean, people need to know. Point blank, people do need to know. I swear, I hope they don't offer him a job. You are not going to find a happy streamer if they do. The next time I stream after that happens, you're going to find an ugly rant video on YouTube, is what you're going to find. And I don't want to be that guy. Buffalo, don't do this to us, man. Luke, don't do this to us, man. You're killing us, bro. You're killing us. Now, I understand just evaluating a player or two if you're just visiting up there, but this man's visited twice now. He's in full Bills uniform. Was this his plan all along? Was he just using the Panthers' scouting job to get a job up in Buffalo? Is this what's going on? If it is, then this man just broke my heart. This man just broke all our hearts. Man. Come on, dog. Oh. I don't know. I was going to try to spend this last 30 minutes of this stream talking about positive stuff, but, you know, as soon as that hit me a certain way. You know what I'm saying? What the? Okay. That was weird. All right, well, y'all know what players I'm looking for tomorrow. Hopefully, they showcase the offense, because that'll be my opportunity to look at them, or at least some depth players tomorrow. But yeah, this is the last day of training camp, and then we got the game on Saturday. So, expect some videos and a stream tomorrow, and then I'll do a pregame stream Saturday afternoon for a few hours. That's going to be the schedule coming up for the rest of the week. Well, I guess we should end this stream on a positive note by saying happy birthday to Taylor Moton. You know, the man got paid, and rightfully so. And I still have yet to check out the second Camp Confidential video. Yeah, that's new, isn't it? Let me see about that real quick. Because I mean, we might take a look at that tomorrow, maybe, as well as do some film breakdown on the last 2 days, training camp with joint practices. So that'll be tomorrow, and whatever else happens, whatever else pops up. So it'll be a full 3 to 4 hour stream. So strap yourselves in tomorrow, for that, because I'm gonna take some time on those videos. So I saw a couple of things. I don't want to spend too much time tonight because I gotta be up there, at 8:30 tomorrow morning. So unless they push it back, in which case then I don't think they'll do that. Not this time. Let me see about Camp Confidential. I thought I saw a notification where they brought it. They put it out. Guess not. I don't know, man. Let me see. There we go. We gotta go to their page. Mic'd up in that victory. Okay. Yeah, this one. 52 seconds. So 52 seconds. Let's watch this. Oh, it's extras. Okay. Why not?
Back to basics, man. I go ice for the cold, banana, strawberry, blueberry.
Man likes his healthy food.
Powder. It just looks healthy, so I did it. Got it.
NFL elite athletes need a significant amount of calories to maintain the energy consumption that they produce on the field. So one way that we're trying to increase their calories is by having mid-meal smoothies. It's a great way to get extra calories, but also stay hydrated.
Not bad.
All right, and I'm glad I found that because yeah, actually they got Brady Christensen press conference. You know what? We can do one of these two today. Let's do the Brady Christensen one. We'll do J.C. Horn tomorrow.
How was it playing that many snaps and not what you were expecting?
It was awesome. It was first time out there and first NFL game, so I just enjoyed every snap. Really enjoyed the whole atmosphere of it, just the experience, and glad to have it under my belt.
How did the coaches grade you out?
We watched film today. A lot of areas of improvement, obviously, with technique and assignment stuff. So always continue to work on that. It's kind of where we're at today.
Anything surprise you being out there?
I think when I first got out there, I was telling my family, I felt like it was almost like a video game, like the lights and everything. But once I got on the field and started playing, it was just football, It's what I love to do. I've done it since I was 7 years old, and so I think that was probably the biggest thing for me. We always joke about it, but he balled out, man. It was fun to watch him run and fun to block for him, so I'm excited to do that in the future.
Brady, what position do you think would give you your quickest way to regular playing time as a rookie?
I honestly don't know how to answer.
Before we continue, he asked, what position do you think is the quickest way to get acclimated into the NFL? So, just to clarify that, because they need to mic up these press conferences, I swear. These reporters never get these questions clearly stated.
I'm just open to play anything. Trying to improve every day. That's always my mindset, whether it be tackle or guard or whatever. Always improving, and
Good.
that's really what's in my control, and that's what I'm focused on.
And would your answer be different for what your position might be long term in terms of what would be best for your career?
No, I don't think it'd be different. I'm open. Whatever the coaches feel like is best for me. You know, I trust them, and my job is to get better every day.
When they say that you like you better on the right side, do you know why, or is that something they've told you?
I mean, yeah, I'm not really sure. Enjoying learning on the right side. Really enjoy learning like a couple new positions and the techniques. So just enjoying the process so far.
Are you feeling more comfortable at right tackle than you were like a couple months ago when they had you there during like OTAs?
Yeah, definitely. I think the more you do something, the more comfortable you're gonna feel. And like, I didn't have any like habits on the right side that I needed a break or anything because it's new. But always just trying to improve with my hands and technique and all that stuff.
Brady, how much guard have you played in your life?
Not a lot, to be honest, but but enjoying it. I mean, offensive line is offensive line. The techniques that you do at tackle, there's a lot of carryover guard. Obviously, it's different. You got to be different with your eyes, and like the landmarks are different, and your eyes are different. But a lot of the techniques carry over. So, like, you should be able to play more than one position.
So
I
is
believe.
that not a lot, none, or not a lot? Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Brady, it was one game, but your rookie class all kind of shined out. Did you think this is a group that could make some early and immediate impacts?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a special group. I mean, I felt that early on when we had rookie minicamp, last whatever spring or winter, whatever it was. And so I'm excited to continue to grow with those guys and get better relationships with them and just really ball out with each other.
What stood out at that minicamp?
I just think the focus everyone had. It wasn't like, you know, come here and just kind of do whatever on your own time. Like, we came in, it was practice, we were focused, but then even off the practice field, we were focused in meetings, focused at nights, focused just on the game, and I could really feel the love of the game with that group.
Brady, who's the strongest offensive lineman on this team?
Strongest? I don't know. There's a lot of strong guys. I don't know.
Is anybody putting up crazy numbers lifting?
Yeah, I mean, we don't lift crazy heavy in the season, so I haven't seen a ton, but I'm sure Timo can put up crazy numbers. Johnny Miller, you know, can put up crazy numbers. A lot of strong guys up there. D. Brown, definitely.
What did you get out of last Thursday and Friday that you wouldn't have gotten or didn't get out of the first part of training camp?
As far as practice?
Practicing against the Colts as opposed to just yourself.
Yeah, I think just seeing new faces up front, you know, like you get so used to your defensive line and their moves and what they do, and then how they just like the alignments and stuff. And so when you're going against a different team, you focus on different moves, different alignments that kind of like alert, hey, pressured look or whatever. And so you just continue. That's football. Every week you look for those signs and those details of the game.
A few more.
He's a really intelligent man. You could tell.
Bohemian Rhapsody. Take us through that choice and the challenging piece of music you chose.
Yeah, it was a song that I knew the words to, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. Love Queen and love their music, and so that's what I went with.
How'd it go for you?
Not good. No, I just started from the chorus. You know, have you seen Wayne's World? Once was enough.
What do you know about this Ravens defense when you're looking forward to facing them and practicing in the game?
Yeah, I know, obviously, historically great defense. Up front, they have a young kid that just drafted and then a couple of vets, too. And so I know they've been really working with each other. And so a lot of athleticism up front.
Okay.
So it's going to be a challenge for us. I'm excited to go against them. And like I said before, kind of learn their moves and what they're best at and kind of go at it.
I love his excitement towards learning about new players and their movements and stuff like that.
You know, that surprised me about first training.
He's really, he's a great player as far as like film study and just knowing what he wants to do, how he wants to do it, and what to do once he gets out there. So, yeah, smart guy. Let me get that out of the like. That being said, we're gonna cover the JC Horn video tomorrow. But I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, sub, hit the bell, select all, and leave a comment down below if you feel like doing so. Quick shout out to everybody in the YouTube chat today. We got David Screws, we've got Lou Rico, we got IC's Ace SE. I think that's how you're supposed to say that. And Corey McKinney in the Facebook chat, as well as my buddy Kenny that came onto the stream today. So, thank you all so very much for making this successful as a stream, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Watch my videos, and let me know if you're interested in the Fantasy Football League. Until then, keep pounding, guys.